Welcome guys, we are finally back with Death Before Dishonour, our competitive tournament series here on the channel, and it's Season 10. This is the first qualifier of Season 10, it's super excited, and we've got 2 semi-finals and a final for you today, and it's going to be insane. We have some wild players already been knocked out of this event, and some more well and truly still in with the run-in. We're having an ODM versus Sons of the Mountain showdown for our first best of 3 between Pantalanada and Dr. Jellyfish, which should prove to be a pretty damn good scrap. There's not many non-ODM players in the run-in in the quarterfinals, so Dr. Jellyfish is standing against them today. I believe Cat Tellus is still fighting out as well with Razel for the last slot in the second semi-final, and awaiting them is Kala Harmon, one of my favourite players, honestly, one of the coolest guys to play Lizardmen, so I'm very excited we get to have him on the channel today, so I'm looking forward to hopping in and checking out that one. But yeah, it's going to be 2 best of 3 semi-finals and a best of 5 final. Up first, we're on Crack Buffdar. Looks like Dark Elves versus Lizardmen will be our appetizer here today. Then we'll be moving on to the main course of Oakenhammer and the juicy dessert of a Starling Tomb, if this does go all the way to the best of 3. What's up, Jack Cherry? What up, YouTube? How's it going, buddy? Hope you're all good today. Yes, give me a long video to stamp this time around. I will, Duros, I will, don't you worry. We've got plenty of games, we're just getting warmed up today. Post happy birthday, thank you, Nafis, thank you. I see all the ducks are out in force today as well. Quack to all of you, Joseph, Mr. Swiss Pikeman, CJ, and we're just getting started here. Also, Aloys as well, don't forget I have not missed you out. And let's see what the picks and bans system were. So, it looks like Jellyfish was the guy to pick and ban first. He went Lizardmen, then banned Skaven and Vampirates. Pantalada counterpicked with Dark Elves. And that's a pretty solid counterpick in my humble little duck opinion. I mean, it's relatively an even matchup between top-tier competitive players, but I do think the Lizardmen have a very slight edge of being able to go super wide and overwhelm the Dark Elf formation, but Dark Elves have a load of real nasty stuff they can do as well to Lizardmen. Scourge on a Chariot's very good, Dark Shards are very good. There's like just so much fast mobile AP they can bring to the battlefield that Lizardmen can sometimes be a little bit slow, ponderous, and slumping around. What's up, Rusty? You've made it just in time. We're literally just kicking off. Thank you, Jack. For those who don't know, Jack Cherry, one of the greatest actors of this generation, actually. People don't know this yet, but they certainly will soon. I actually went to university with him, and he's an absolute legend. So happy to have you here, bud. And if you've seen one of my live streams before, so much extra pressure on me right now to perform. Ready, good luck, have fun. Cool, looks like the lads are ready to rumble, and we can hop into this one. Well, looks like he might be making some last-minute adjustments, but we'll press start battle just so these guys can get underway as quickly as possible. Go Elves. Yeah, man, the Elves are going to be, they're going to have their backs against the walls, but they can certainly whip out a few crossbows from long range and do some decent damage. Ogres, my lord, I hope you enjoyed the announcement earlier, Kelligar. I've got another announcement I'm doing tomorrow, actually. I'm doing an event with Creative Assembly, not this weekend, but next weekend, called Teach Me Total War. It's going to be a blast, and it's an event that I pitched to them, and they actually kind of took it upon themselves to make it this full event. So I'm going to be live in a couple of weeks on their official channel, which would be pretty cool. What's up, Ice Power, Park Gorilla? Hope you guys are all good today. You are getting to see your beloved Dark Elves in action, Ice, and it is Marathi. Okay, looks like he's a man of class and culture, is our ODM warrior today, and we have Marathi. She's coming with Soul Sealer and her wand, so pretty basic standard stuff. And a Feral Manticore, I believe. Where'd she go? Yeah, we still got 1 Feral Manticore, not 2 Feral Manticores, which are a little bit upsetting, but hey, you can't get everything you want. A load of bleak swords to make up the front line, and it is super mobility heavy apart from that. So we have triple Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, double basic Dark Riders, double cold ones? No, just another Dark Rider, 1 cold one, but it is the cold one Dread Knight. So a unit which used to be considered quite a meme back in the day. They're so good up against Lizardmen due to their heavy armor and the fact they can go toe-to-toe a lot of the enemy cavalry. So yeah, fast mobile core, basic cheap and cheerful chaff, and it is going to be a full skirmish game. For the forces of Dr. Jellyfish, representing my favourite children of the old ones, the Lizardmen, we do have double Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bowlers, good to harass the enemy Dark Shards, though there is none today. We also have some Colossal Hunters, Regiment Round Aripidactyl Riders, and Tic-Tac-Toe. I've often insulted Tic-Tac-Toe. I feel like people bring him just to wind me up, but, he can certainly do some decent damage as well. He's floating around, and he's going to be hounding and harassing Marathi as much as possible. I feel like he'll still get dumpstered in that fight due to her debuffs. We'll have to wait and see. We do have a Skink Praise the Heavens up in the skies as well, so a bit of an air build. We have Curse of Midnight Wind, Harmonic Convergence, and Wind Blast for the spells. And then infantry-wise, it is the dreaded Box of Doom. So we just have a load of Saurus Warriors in a lovely little box formation. Cohort of Sotek, as well as the Skink Cohort of Javelins in the central pocket. Double Bastiladons with solar engines for some nice long-range pressure. The problem with going like a box formation up against the Dark Elves is, I would argue 99 times out of 100, you're going to be facing Marathi or Malekith, who will simply pop Soul Stealer after Soul Stealer, and it dominates box-style builds, because that spell is going to hit every single unit. We'll have to wait and see. Simps assemble? Yeah, I'm sure they will. Single man TE, ODM trash massacre and my baby. I know you're joking, man. I know you're joking. It's going to be good fun. Quack, quack. What's up, Pax? How's it going? Hope you're all good today, man. Y-Box versus Dark Elves? Why not? I don't know. But no, I agree with you. I mean, normally, my main thing against Dark Elves is you want to rush them as much as possible and overwhelm them, because Dark Shards are a pain in the butt. I think he's backing on the fact his aerial core of these double file-each bowlers and the 2 shooty dinos of the soul engines can clear out the enemy range, and then maybe just kind of, you know, he just wants to protect those Bastiladons and thinks they can carry the day. I'm not sure how well that's going to go, just based off the builds. I think the Dark Elves do have an advantage, but Dr. Jellyfish is a very talented Lizardman player, so he certainly knows how to wield the Dino Boys. I'm sure he's got a few tricks up his sleeve that we're not seeing at the moment. Can we start? Yes. Go, go. No need to wait on me. I don't think Pantanada's played in a tournament on my live streams before, but you can just go. Just go as soon as you're ready. Hanadins! What's up, man? Loads of ODM players today. Loads of ODM players, man. It was not quite possible for a full ODM semi-final. I think we could have had 3 out of the 4 players, but I think some of them have indeed been eliminated here. So the Terran Riders are just vibing at the moment. The Dino Box is going to be slowly moving up. Now, the Solar Engines can counter Dark Shards relatively effectively, as well as the Scourge Runner Chariot, and a lovely direct hit there doing some pretty big HP damage as the Scourge Runner Chariot is forced back. Can we kill a model? Doesn't look like it. And that's kind of the problem with dealing with Scourge Runner Chariots in this manner, is that unless you get a model down, their damage outputs can be exactly the same, so it doesn't really matter that much. And you can see that the Solar Engines getting a little overexcited and actually pushing out from their box formation, looking to poke down the enemy. And yep, still going after the Scourge Runner Chariot, which isn't a bad target whatsoever. And the other one does manage to fell a couple of Dark Riders. So it is first blood to the Lizardmen forces. File-Each Bowlers going to come over here to hound and harass. So they're not the best at killing cavalry, to be honest. Very good at killing infantry, and that's why he's brought them today, in hopes that his opponent brings Dark Shards, but there is none on the battlefield. Dark Riders do move up. Looks like they're going to start to pepper down the Bastiladon Solar Engine. There's no healing in this build, so all this damage is really going to start to rack up. And the File-Each Bowlers are hounding the Dark Riders, driving them away. But Marathi is nearby alongside a Ferromanticore. Now we can see the Colossus Hunters are on the prowl, as well as Tic-Tac-Toe. And it looks like Marathi doesn't want to scrap. She's not ready to beef with the mighty Tic-Tac-Toe and decides, you know what, I'm going to fall back. Let my range elements really bring the pain, and you can see the dinosaurs are taking massive damage right now. Cohen Dread Knights are charging after the Skinks, going to get intercepted by the Saurus Warriors. No damage really taken on either side there, so quite an even trade. And it looks like the Dark Elves have got a lovely firing arc going down, and these poor Bastiladons, because of the box formation, they don't really have that many places to fall back to. And it's getting absolutely obliterated right now, down to just 2,400 HP. A lot of good damage has been done by the Solar Engines, but all the Scourge Runner Chariots still remain, and now the Saurus are kind of pushing out quite aggressively across the field. This Air Core is certainly going to want to get aggressive. Now, you can see Tic-Tac-Toe getting a little bit bold, was considering going after the Ferromanticore in hand-to-hand combat before decides, you know what, I'm just a little skinky, I'm going to fall back. Now, the Scourge Runner Chariots are a little bit stagnant here. They're not moving around as much as they should be, and they're down to 2 models due to the fact they've not been juking those big old dino shots, and this Bastiladon is just about holding on. You can see the Dark Elves starting to rotate up and around to get some shots on the weakened beast. Scourge Runner Chariot's been used in combat now to roam freely through the front lines. On top of the Saurus Warriors, going to do some nice damage and just help assist the Bleak Swords in their victory in the front line, a fight they would normally comfortably lose. Now, the Colossus Hunters are hounding and harassing the Scourge Runner Chariots, not the best targets for them, because they're simply going to get obliterated on the approach. Jumping on the Ferromanticore, however, or on Marathi would be a much better target, and that's just what they're going to be doing. Dr. Jellyfish senses blood in the air, and the bounce power is currently favouring him. Dark Riders have been forced back. Solar Engines somehow still alive. The Solar Engine is very weakened, but it has allowed them to force off the Dark Riders. Scourge Runners struggling to actually get in the right position now. In the main fight, we do see a big Soul Stealer. Likewise, a Curse of the Midnight Wind goes down. The Colossus Hunters taking so much damage, but Harmonic Convergence goes down on them. Toad Rage, all of the buffs, and that Feral Manticore is getting shredded alive, and down it goes. However, Tic-Tac-Toe thought it was a good idea to fight Marathi. Even buffing himself and debuffing her, he is simply no match for the dreaded Dark Lady of the Night, and he is going to have to run for it. He can simply not go toe-to-toe with a warrior like Marathi, which is a bit of a shame. The Colossus Hunters can move back to try to assist, but even with them right now, they're quite beat up. Marathi might be able to have her way in the air. Core, Bounce Power is loving the dinos currently, but the Bastiladons getting a little bit low on HP. We can see the repeater crossbows trying to get in here, though the Fire Lich Bowlers are launching shot after shot at them, trying to keep them at bay. Very close game so far. A decent amount of ammunition is still left on the Dark Elves, and it looks like this first Bastiladon has finally bit the bullet down to 100 HP. There's almost no way he's going to be able to come back from this, and he does break and start to run from the battlefield. Marathi is still hunting at Tic-Tac-Toe. Now, his speed is 110 versus 105, so a bit of a waste here. You should probably just give up this chase, I would think, although it is keeping her away from the Colossus Hunters. If she simply saves up for another Soul Stealer, though, or something, she might be able to finish off Tic-Tac-Toe there. The Dino Box is completely broken. They're trying to reform the lines. We do get a Wind Blast down on the Dark Riders, but I think that's more of a panic spell. It's not actually going to do much damage to them whatsoever. And the Fire Lich Bowlers doing a good job, though, cleaning through the infantry as the Saurus also are jumping into the grind. Now, the Bastiladon has moved into hand-to-hand combat. There is still a lot of Scourge Runners, and despite Bounce of Power, I actually personally think the Dark Elves are in a really good situation right now. Bounce of Power up here is a little bit drunk. Cole and Dread Knights going for a rear charge into the Saurus Warriors, who are desperately trying to cling on, but they've been charged time and time again, and they're getting flung all over the place. Colossus Hunters do have the Toad Rage popped on them and Harmonic Convergence, which is all good and well, but they don't have the speed to actually catch Marathi, so it's not going to matter that much, although the Skink Priest may have something to say about that, being able to slow down enemy flyers. Poor little Bastiladon is getting his thick hide pierced by bolts here, and he's got Cold-Blooded trying to keep him in the action, but he does break. A lovely Soul Stealer goes down, catching the Cold of Sotek and the Skink Priest. It would have caught the Bastiladon, but he was already running for his life, and it looks like the Colossus Hunters are just about clipping Marathi now and again, but she's basically up to full health, and it looks like the tables have turned. The dinos have nowhere left to go. Scourge Runner chariots are basically out of ammunition, but you can still use them as light chariots, just cycle charging down the front line and overwhelming the enemy troops. Cold of Sotek fighting to the bitter end, as is their way, but the Terran Riders are really running out of ammunition. You can see Colossons do get a nice pick here on the enemy Dark Riders, but what's left to kill Marathi? That is a big problem. Still a close game, though. As you can see, the Bleak Swords have been forced off. Saurus Warriors barely clinging on, but they're one of the most stable units in the game. And Scourge Runners have been pinned in by Tic-Tac-Toe and the Skink Priest. Luckily for the chariots, Tic-Tac-Toe hits like a damp lettuce and isn't doing that much damage. He's in fact up to an impressive 0 kills so far today. But still a decent pick up against the Dark Elves. You can apply pressure to Marathi with support, and he's relatively cheap and cheerful. Cole and Dread Knights are actually struggling up against the Saurus Warriors. You really can't sit in these combats against Saurus Warriors too much, because they will, with their high weapon strength, deal so much damage to basically anything. You need to cycle charge, and the Scorch Runner Chariots are actually struggling right now. Tic-Tac-Toe, the Pterodons are being forced back here. Has the in-game sound gone? Oh no, guys, I don't hear any in-game sound. That might be a bug. They did do an update recently to go onto the live, and it looks like the game is over, though. Bounce Power forces its way all the way in favour of the Dark Elves, and the Lizardmen do break. Why Law of Heavens? Law of Heavens will actually slow down enemy flies, which is quite useful, and it has some decent spells on it. Well played to Pantalanada and Dr. Jellyfish. Not sure what happened with the audio there at the end. I could still hear music, but I couldn't hear in-game sound. I don't know if that was just me. I'll have to double check that and make sure it's all good for the next game. But well played nonetheless. Marathi did a decent job, of course, as always. 2,613 damage value. Beautiful work by her. 20 kills. And at the end of the day, though she got some healing, she was full health. And that's all you need to do. Bleak Swords did okay, nothing too crazy to be honest across the board, and the Dark Riders got 300 damage value, 992 and 580. Scourge Runner Chariots, 1.2k damage value, 1.3 and 885. Despite the pressure from those solar engines, Scourge Runner Chariots are so freaking annoying. I hate them so much. I hate them. And they do so much work there. So the Ferroman score, 113 damage value, not too much on that beastie. 520 on the Dark Riders, and the other Dark Riders didn't do too much. 800 on the Dread Knights is fine, considering they were still healthy in the later stages of the game. The Lettuce Master himself, Tic-Tac-Toe, just shy of 1,000 damage value. 930 is not shabby whatsoever, and he got some kills in the end of the day, got 3 of them. 80 damage value on the Skink Priest of Heavens. I quite like the idea of this build. Colossal Hunter's 1,000 value. The Saurus did okay in the front. Honestly, nothing too crazy across the board. 955 from the Fire-Lich Bowlers, a very underrated unit in my opinion. 435 and 955 damage on those bad boys. And the big old dinosaurs, we got 557 and 1,192 damage value. Taking that shock damage off the rip from that Bastillodon on the right there really did cost Dr. Jellyfish a little bit. But GG's. Yeah, Soul Stealer carrying Dark Elves? Oh, for sure. For sure. It is very good. So, let's go to Oakenhammer. And then... I don't know how to check the settings without leaving the lobby. Check your settings. There's a Control X or Alt X command that silences the audio that I accidentally press a lot. Well, I will check in the next game. If it's not there, I can still hear music. Yeah, I still can, so we'll have to wait and see. But if not, I'll press Control X. I don't think I would have, because I'm only really moving around, but if it doesn't work, we'll pop out the lobby and create a new one and readjust the sound and stuff. But thank you for the tip, Ice. That is very useful. Go TTT, eat their souls. Unfortunately, the Soul Sealer did devour his own one. But, you know, Tic-Tac-Toe is relatively solid. I think I did a Lizardman tier list just a couple of days ago. I think I put him slap bang in the middle. I thought, you know, he does what he says on the tin. He's cheap and he's relatively squishy, but very fast and doesn't do too much damage. No! Oh my god, Dr. Jellyfish is so upset they've banned his beloved Dowie. So Pantalanada has picked Beastmen banned Dowie. That's a wild ban there. I guess maybe he just knows Dr. Jellyfish likes to play Dowie. I think Beastmen are really good into Dwarves, so there is a relatively decent build now you can actually do with Dwarfs, which is very Slayer and Miner heavy to overwhelm the Beastmen. But it looks like Alfredino has traumatized him in this matchup, so should be good fun. I am almost certain we're going to be seeing double Gunnery Whites on Crabs, and I mean, maybe not Count Noctilus, but the Gunnery Whites is almost a certainty. I think it's going to be them and Count Noctilus. It's almost what you see every time. Although I do have a really good fun game actually going to be coming out with VP and Skaven soon, which is from a live stream we did like a week or 2 ago. But I've been away for a little while, so I've been kind of doing old replays so far. What's up, Captellus? How's it going, champ? I hope you're all good today, bud. And enjoying life. What's up, Zypher? You can take the player out the Dowie, but you can't take the Dowie out the player. It's really funny, Ice, actually, when I watch people who main one faction predominantly, so someone like Grombrindle, or someone like Poison Ducky, or Logic, you see their style of play transition into other factions. So I remember watching Poison Ducky play Lizardmen, and he played it just like a Vampire Count, like Foot Rush. It was really interesting. You see people kind of bring over a lot of their tricks from one faction to the other. Moo! What's up, Torx Brass Ball? How's it going, champ? I hope you're all good today. We may indeed get to see you in action, as Pantalanada is bringing the forces of the Beastmen. Bannon Dowie instantly puts you in the book. It's true. It's true. Give us... The people demand Dowie. The people want the Dowie, but the players aren't playing it. I think Dr. Jellyfish might be our only Dowie player left in. Oh, tell us. How did your games go? I don't even know who's in the next round. Let's double check. Assuming their games are done, which is good timing for us. Looks like Captellus did fall, but to the mighty Razel, which is certainly no joke. So it's going to be Razel and Kalaharman in the next game. So 3 ODM players in the semi-finals here, which is pretty insane. Which is good work. Let me just let them know. I'm sure they know. I'm sure they know, actually, to be honest, that they're going to be up next. So they might well be in chat. I'm not sure yet. Yes, Soul Stealer is still very powerful, 100%. It's still very powerful, but yeah, if you can't... I just don't think you can box against factions which have it. With the Slayer build, yeah, exactly. You basically bring like 5 Slayers, a couple of Giant Slayers, 5 Miners of Blast and Charges, and 4 Ironbrow, and it's pretty nasty against the Beastmen. Not unbeatable, because you can bring a load of chaff to kill the Slayers, and then you just have to kill the Miners with Cycle Charge and so forth, but it's really hard to pull off. I have seen Tank manage to do it, though, with a Beastman build, which wasn't prepared for the Slayer Rush either, because it was in a 1-build Battle Royale tournament. Yes. Yes, Nathus and Torux are both here. Haven't you guys had a good time the last couple of days? I've not been in town, so I did all my videos in advance. But I'm back now, and boy oh boy, do I have some ridiculously good replays you guys have been sending me in, which I'm really looking forward to getting back into, just like bursting out some replays. So I'm going to be doing maybe a replay today after this live stream and get it late up on the video, because we haven't done a video today. I've also got a big announcement for the Teach Me Total War. You might have seen some people have already done videos on it. Basically, me and 8 other streamers, or no, 7 other streamers, and Creative Assembly, all taken on a student, and we're going to teach that student who hasn't played Total War multiplayer before. They can play campaign, but not multiplayer. We're going to teach them over next week how to play the game, how to play multiplayer, all the tricks and traps and all that cool stuff. And then on the weekend, we're going to be live streaming. So your boy is going to be live streaming on Total War's official channel, the tournament. So day 1's going to be Saturday. We're going to be streaming random games from the group games, because we don't have enough time to go through all of them. But we're going to be doing, like, some favourite games and that kind of stuff. And then the finals is going to be streamed at 3 PM on the Sunday, which I am super excited about. I'm very nervous because I think Total War has like 400k something subscribers, so being live on their channel is going to be a little bit creepy for the first 5 minutes. But as soon as we get into it, it's the same job. I'm on my same PC, doing the exact same thing that I'll be doing over there that I normally do here. But it's going to be good. It's going to be really cool. So I'll do a video anyway announcing that, running you guys through all the details and so forth, and showing off the really cool logo Creative Assembly designed, which I'm a big fan of. Looks like the boys are ready to rumble. So we will hop in. Is it Oakenhammer? Yeah, it is. Oakenhammer is the map. And very quickly, before we hop in, let me update the scoreboard. So Pantalonada did win game 1 there. If I can find the scoreboard. Where you hiding? Boop. There we go. Bam. So there's 1-0. This is a best of 3, guys. So we got this best of 3, a second best of 3, and then a best of 5 finals. And it's going to be good fun. It's going to be good fun. We are streaming a little bit earlier than usual, but don't worry, this will all get uploaded as one big video anyway, so if people do join late, hello from the past. But as with all my live streams, I tend to just have them all uploaded. That's that good juicy water. Yeah, I can't hear their sounds, no! Is there no way of doing settings here? Game settings. Sounds. Huh. I don't know why there's no, like, in-game sound. I think the lobby just might be bugged. That's really annoying. Well, we have some, like, ominous music playing in the background. And then I'll just have to speak through this, obviously. And then I'll reset the lobby after this one. And double check, like, the big settings. But if this guy does go to the best of 3, I'll just let the guys know they need to pop out for a bit. But anyway, for the forces of the Beastmen here, we do have Ungor Spear Herds, as well as Ungor Herds dotted through the front line and guarding the flanks. And in that central pocket, we do have 1, 2, 3 Ungor Raiders, which is nice, doing some long-range damage. We do have Harpies up in the skies, 1 and 2. And then we've got Centicles of Throne Axes, including the Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run in this third battle line. It looks like 4 units of the Throne Axes. That is a lot. And then we have the Sons of Goros in the back. Leading the battle line, we do have Morga the Shadowgave and the Brave Shaman of Death. So Spirit Leech and Doom and Darkness will be the poisons of choice. And Morga the Shadowgave, of course, coming in with all of his summons and goodness. As for Dr. Jellyfish, he is, of course, bringing his Dowie geometry to the battlefield and going for a defensive formation. And hey, and the sidekick, we have double gunnery wights here, as is with the kind of standard loadout, as always. And Count Not Closer, who is walking forward, firing. He has Captain Roth's Moondial, as well as the Wraith Storm. We have a load of zombie pirate deckhand mobs. We have some gunners, as well as the bombers. And then 1, 2, 3 Rotten Prometheans, including the Lamprey's Revenge. So let's quickly try, is it Control X? Control X. What did you suggest? Was it Control X and something else? Or Alt X? Let's try that. It's back! It's back! Ice Power's a genius! He's a genius! We have sound! Okay, excellent. It's not quite the same battle without the glorious sound. Oh, yes, I can hit... Oh, did you hear that on the wind? The sounds of death, guys! The sounds of death! We can hear it! Awesome. Well played to Mr. Ice Power. He is OP. So the forces of the Beastmen are going to be moving forward. Likely a little bit of a kite in here from the Gunnery Wights, of course, and Count Noctilus, as they simply fall back to this defensive formation. This is basically what you're going to be expecting from the VP the entire game, just kind of moving back to this defensive formation, though I don't think they are going to have to start pushing up. I mean, it's basically going to be in range instantly anyway with the Gunnery mobs, but these lovely little Gunnery Wights are going to be falling back. A juicy usage there of the Gunnery Wights. It's not going to do the most amount of kills, but it does so much HP damage to those Ungors, they're very easy to break off. Now, we did a summon of these zombie pirate deckhand mobs, moving in to engage the Ungor Raiders, as well as the Centaurs with thrown axes, and boy oh boy is Count Noctilus taking a bucket ton of damage. Look at his HP just drip off him. Sons of Goros are getting down and dirty. We do see that second zombie pirate deckhand mob go down immediately right now, and Count Noctilus may well be dead here. If Count Noctilus falls, this is game over. And he is pinned in a lovely usage of the Chaos Spawn. This could be the world's quickest game. Count Noctilus is not able to get free. There's Harpies pinning him in place. He has his summon. He has popped Invocation the heck on him. But even more Harpies are starting to swoop in. This could end up being a bit of a bait, though. If they don't get Noctilus, all of the Beastmen's forces have been chucked forward into this one pocket. The Krabos are forcing their way forward, but Count Noctilus goes down. One of the fastest snipes I've ever seen of Mr. Noctilus. Beastmen in a massive state of advantage. Lovely Chaos Spawn summon by Morg the Shadowgave. You can see them in here now, going toe-to-toe with the Krabos. And is that all hope lost instantly? I mean, one Chaos Spawn summon has been used. Now, the bombers are starting to chuck in. Looks like both summons may actually be on the field. And the Beastmen forces may struggle to deal with all the Krabos if the Gunnery Wights can get these Ungor Raiders off the field. But there's so many thrown axes as well. Zombie pirate Gunnery mobs in the back, just about to get overrun by the Ungors. You can see them charging in with joyful glee as they're about to hack and carve into the rotting flesh of the zombie pirate mobs. There we go, doing some absolutely lovely damage, and that's one unit shut down, though there is some deckhand mobs nearby for support. And in the central fight, how are the Krabos doing? Not too bad. They've done a lot of damage, unfortunately it is to the summoned Chaos Spawn. But the Ron Prefins are doing okay. They're not taking that much damage themselves. A lot of the Centaurs likewise have been forced back. But you can see the Ungor Raiders in a lovely firing arc alongside 4 units of throwing axes all going into the Krabos. That is so rough, and there's no long range to actually shut them down properly. Lovely usage of the spell there, just going to clear out the Ungor herds, do some big damage there, get the Spimmin off the field as well. They'll hopefully allow the Crabs to force their way back onto the Ungor Raiders, but they've got nothing to catch the Centaurs, and the Centaurs are doing some huge damage now. You can see the Lamprey's Avenge are nearly down, and Morgul the Shadowgave has no fear. He's charging straight in Leroy Jenkins style after the Gunnery Wights, as the Sons of Goros are here to help him as well. This other Gunnery Wight is now surrounded, being hacked and cracked open by their cleaving weapons. Ungor herds have hopped in the back, and though there was some nice play by Dr. Jellyfish to pull back the deckhand mob to try to protect his guns and bombers, there is so many Beastmen left on the field, and it's nearly army losses already. A very swift game here as the rotten Prometheans do push forward once more, but even the Brave Shaman's just going to, you know, I'm going to chuck here and move myself into combat. I'm not really scared of these guys because they're taking so much pressure from long-range damage. Gunnery Wights are getting a little bit beat up and forced back here, and Dr. Jellyfish is going to bow out. That was crazy. That was so swift. Yeah, I guess I accidentally pressed down Alt or something, but thanks for the tip, man. That's very useful. Well played to Pantalado, well played to Dr. Jellyfish. I think that was just too much to recover from. Undead factions as a whole, less so Tomb Kings, but it's still very problematic. But with any undead faction, if you lose your lord, it is so tough to recover. Because, for the most part, leadership isn't fantastic for undead. Obviously, due to the balance in fact that they crumble. So if you leave it at eyes, everyone starts to crumble, and it's an absolute nightmare. Which was how it worked on tabletop as well, I should say. But they have a load of powerful lords to counteract that. So well played, nonetheless, though, to Dr. Jellyfish. Count Noctilus, 830 damage value, despite being trapped up early on. Pantalonada, beautiful use of that Chaos Spawn summon to pin him in place, surround him and drag him down. Now, the Gunnery Wights did okay. Nothing amazing, to be honest. 430 and 490 value, and nothing else is going to have done too much, to be honest. Bomber's got 470 value. All the Crabos under 400 value, 330, 360 and 269. Ah, it's a sad day for those who love the crabs. Well played though to the Beastmen forces here. Morgul the Shadow gave only 300 value, but his Chaos Spawn summons were invaluable. 776 damage value on the Shaman, and the infantry didn't do too much, to be honest. Ungor Raiders as well, I mean 460 value, 728 brilliant, 185 as well. They had a load of ammunition left. Harpies did a good job pinning the enemy in place. 840 on the Sons of Goros and the Thrown Axes. 800 damage value, 1000 damage value, 1100 and 650 with ammo left in the bank. GG's, man. GG. So, up next we will be having Calaharman taking on Raziel, which is really cool. So let me tag those guys quickly. And then I'll update the scoreboard. But we are moving on now to the second semi-final. So Raziel, Calaharman. Lobby is up, guys. Password 123. With the maps being Eschen is going to be our first map. Then Blue Reach River. And Pillar of Bone. So a nice mixture there of like 2 large maps, 1 small map, so it should be some good fun. Let's update the scoreboard very quickly to 2-0, just so everyone can stay in there and see it. And, okay, looks like Raziel is going to hop in first. Yo, yo. All done on getting this far, man. Cool. So I think this is the first time we're seeing Calaharman on the channel, and I'm a little fanboy of Calaharman. He is such a cool Lizmen player, so hopefully we get to see that in action. Raziel as well has been a legend in the community for quite some time. Very talented player. I can't remember which faction he mains. I feel like he played Beastmen before playing Beastmen was cool. So I assume with all their new toys and so forth they got, he's probably still quite a big fan of them. Let's go now and update everything. So we'll change the scoreboard back down, otherwise it'd be slightly unfair if Raziel got to start with a 2-0 advantage. On the right hand side, we're just going to pick Cal, because Calaharman is a little bit long to fit in on the top there. And on the other side, we go Raziel. I'm not sure if it's Raziel or Raziel. I apologise for my terrible pronunciation. There we go. I believe that is the correct spelling, so let's make that a little bit bigger for you guys, and boop! There we go. There we go. So let's load in, and we're just waiting on Cal. I started crying midway. Oh no! Fanta strikes again. If he wins Logic, we're making a rule that he has to be called Fanta from now on. He has to legally change his government name to it, or I'm going to be upset. This is what happens when they ban dwarves, so Kelligar's angry, man. Yo! Well done, Cal, on getting this far. And I believe, let me double check, I think it is going to be Raziel to pick and ban first. It is. Awesome. Raziel to pick and ban first. Maps are in Discord. Awesome, we can just sit back and chill. Noclus has like 0 mass. He was pinned in literally. If you go back and watch Dr. Jellyfish, your opponent was actually very smart. He literally summoned a unit of Chaos Spawn, and Noclus, yeah, he doesn't have the most mass. He could not push through the Chaos Spawn, which I mean is a really good use of their play. You see Chaos Spawn used to pinning cavalry and stuff and large entities. It is something they're relatively talented at doing. Yeah, I do wish we got to see some Dowie as well. I really do wish we got to see some Dowie, but alas. So Raziel is going to be going Beastman. Yeah, I felt like he was a Beastman main. So he's going to be going Beastman, banning Vampire Counts and Vampirates. It's a good idea to ban the Undead when you're Beastman, due to the fact you don't have the greatest leadership, and everything on the field just has fear and terror, and they're very good at grinding out matchups. Something the Beastmen have got better at, but aren't still amazing. I'm praying we get some Dino Boys here. I really am. I hope he wins, so I don't feel bad to losing to him. Capt, man, he's a very talented player. I wouldn't knock yourself whatsoever if you lose to Raziel. I've lost to him multiple times. I think I've managed to take him down a couple of times, but maybe a long time ago. I haven't played in tournaments for, or not properly played in tournaments for quite some time. I'm holding myself for that Total Warhammer 3, because I'm going to be going probably quite hard at that for a long time when it comes out. Yes! Yes! We get to see the children of the old ones in action! Benzo says, yeah, I'm super sad we didn't get to see Dowie either. They're certainly short. I feel like, Benzo, you're not the biggest Dowie fan. I feel like you're lying to us, but I'm not sure who. Right, let's do a little poll as well while we're here. And let's do which faction is best in this matchup. We have the Lizardmen and the Beastmen. Oh, there we go. Children of Chaos versus Children of the Old Ones time. Yeah, this is what the Lizardmen were born to do. They were designed to kill creatures of chaos. So you'd expect them to be relatively decent at it. But it is an interesting one now. I think this matchup used to be one of the worst in the game for Beastmen. Lizardmen were so good in this matchup, but since they got their new tools, Beastmen are really quite powerful now. And can certainly do a number on the Dino Boys. Surprisingly, I think Dr. Jellyfish's build that we saw against Dark Elves would do pretty good up against the Beastmen. Double Soul Engine can cause quite a lot of long-range problems, drive off Centicles with thrown axes as well, and hit Tuskor Chariots. So it's certainly something you can do. It's certainly something that's very scary. Oh, that's a big fat stretch. But it's not the only way you can play Lizardmen. There's a load of different ways. Now, Tuskor Chariots, when they were OP, Lizardmen had zero chance to win this matchup, in my humble opinion, because the Tuskor Chariots could kill an infinite amount of infantry. They were hitting way too hard and also had almost impossible hitboxes, so they were very, very nasty. But since that, I think I would personally say this is an even matchup, and yes, I have realised I haven't put an even fin in the poll again, as is my standard to forget that. But yes. What's up, Bailey? How's it going? Tabitha Bailey. Nafis says, man, the new Ogre cinematic is so cool. Just feast and punch people. It gave me real piratey vibes as well. I'm not sure why, but the music, I was like, oh, it feels piratey. Taurox used to hate fighting lizards before Taurox got added. Indeed. But now I think it's relatively even. Relatively close. Awesome. So the maps are Eshin, Blue Ridge River, and Pillar of Bone. But to start with, it shall be the Eshin. And let's hop into this one. I'm expecting a good game between these two guys. And it looks like we do have an ODM guaranteed final. With Pantalonada, or Fantalonada, however you want to call him, already booking his spot in the finals. Now it's just between one of these two to see who will get in there. Probably the Shanty. Yeah, it reminds me of the Pirate Shanty. Also, hello Victor. How's it going? Victor Kovacs. Hope you're all good, man. And here we are on Eshin. Pretty solid map in my opinion. It's got the two high ground sections on the left and the right. A very defensive map. It does tend to favour factions who want to play defensive because you can take a hill on either side and try to shoot your opponent as they have to trudge and grind their way up. As everyone has taught us, fighting uphill is very bad. Not so much in a one-on-one situation actually. One-on-one, there's some pros and some cons, but in a big battle situation, having the high ground is very important, not only so you can see a lot more of the battle, but you're lifting a lot of heavy weight and so forth. Trudging up a hill of an entire army is certainly quite an ordeal. Not that I've had to do it recently, but when the Great Duck Uprising does happen, we'll certainly be using our wings to our advantage to get those glorious upper advantages. Just downloaded the game again yesterday. Awesome. I'm so happy. So happy, guys. The Cav Beat is live. The Cav Beat is live, so the My Play scene's not split in two. It's so good. I'm so happy. It's actually reinvigorated me a little bit to play some more games and do some awesome stuff. I've been away, though, for a couple of days, so I missed the beta actually going live, but now that it is, I feel like I can maybe do some more live streams where we do quick battles and you guys can design my builds or pick my factions and that kind of stuff, which you couldn't really do before when we were on the Cav beta, unfortunately. The Eltharion trailer was awesome, I must admit. The Mad Max style of approach of the greenskins was really cool. It was very, very cool. Until we realised what Grom was like, and I was like, oh no. So, the timer's doing that weird thing where it's like loading on itself, so that means we should be ready to go, fingers crossed. There we go, cool, we did manage to load in here. And it looks like it is extremely laggy for now, but hopefully that should start to stabilise itself as these guys' computers actually fully loaded. And it looks like it has, so it's probably more of a PC error there than actual internet connection, which is good news for us. These guys are clanmates, so I'm sure their computers work well together and all that stuff. So we do indeed have a, just I say that, it like lags heavily. So we do indeed have a Doomball here, the smaller cousin of Taurox, and a Brave Shaman of Wild, kind of Brave Scream and Traitorkin. And it's our boy! He's both in chat and on the battlefield at the same time. Who says Brass Balls can't multitask? We have Taurox the Brass Ball coming in with the Brass Body, super pumped to get in here and dish out the paint. We do have double Tuskor Chariots, which are certainly very scary still, despite them being relatively heavily nerfed. Or fixed, I should say, more likely. Load of Ungor Spearheads in the main battle line, triple Centigals with thrown axes, Ferromanticals up in the skies, and double Bestigals, just bringing those axes to cleave asunder the scaly skin of both Saurus and Large Dino alike. We actually have an onion style of play, it would seem, coming in by the Lizardmen and Calaharmon today. We have a load of Saurus Spears and Saurus Warriors dotted through the front line. That should certainly be enough to drag down most of the enemy infantry, backed up by a load of Skink Cult of Javelins. Now, these Javelins can do way more damage than you would think, and those just, I think they got 3 volleys. Those 3 volleys working on basically naked monsters and stuff can do so much damage, it's really quite glorious. Load of Skin Kilts on the flanks and more Saurus Spears in the back. We do have double Bastildon, one of which is a solar engine and the other is actually an Arc of Sotek. And then we have, for the hero core, a Skink Priest with Manticore summon. We then have a Saurus Scar Veteran, a hero that I know is powerful and I never blame him bring. I don't know what it is. He doesn't seem to suit my builds, but is a very cool anti-large warrior today. And he's rolling dirty with my favourite legendary lord in the game, Calaharmon, a man of taste, coming in with Crocky G, Hand of the Gods on a horned one. And he's obviously anti-large, can duel Taurox relatively effectively, as well as some of the other large creatures. I must admit, pretty big fan of this build. Pretty big fan. Now, it does have a few weaknesses. Mass Centaur Phronexes could be problematic, with only the one solar engine to drive the enemy at bay. Obviously, the other being an Arc of Sotek. But I do like the Arc of Sotek pick as well. I can do relatively decent in combat, particularly clearing out Bestigals and other such units. Yes, yes, go ODM. I mean, no matter which way, ODM shall be winning this tournament. Doombo of Taurox, exactly. Exactly. It's like, hey, you got to take your little brother out. It's like, ah, but mum, I want to bring the Doombo to the battlefield. Good luck, have fun. Awesome to see these guys. Again, they're clanmates. I'm sure they've played a load of times against each other, which is quite interesting because, hey, we know each other's playstyles, we know each other's builds. Do you mix it up and go wild, or do you stick to what you know? Now, the Lizardmen can play the patient game here. They have the range advantage, so they can simply sit back and wait for this Arc of Sotek to dish out the pain. It is going after the Tuskor Chariots, which is certainly a good target. Looks like he accidentally clipped Taurox the Brass Bull as well. But getting the Chariots off the field early is going to be very, very nice indeed. And that should hopefully allow the Saurus to grind through the enemy main battle lines. And in comes the Arc of Sotek. Go on, Gary! Charging in quite happily. Ramrodding at the Ungors. And I'm just waiting for those juicy snakes to come out. But he might not be using them yet. There was definitely a visual bug. Oh my god. The Great Wall has formed. Okay, I won't be zooming on that patch of ground. There seems to be a big bug going down there. Tuskor Chariots do take some damage. They are down to, nope, still 3 moles, which isn't bad. Ungor Spearmen are going to engage with the enemy battle line. Best scores are looking to push in. Are being focused down by the Skink Coyotes with Javelins, which is a good target. They have 95 arm, which is good, but not fantastic. And it should hopefully allow the Saurus Spears to fare much better up against them. Now, the Arc of Sotek's taking so much work because there is 3 Mr. Centigors, rain shots down on it, but it's doing a lot of damage back as well to the Bestigals. Unfortunately, there's a Gorbel in here. Big Hand of the Gods comes down. Most of the beams connect and doing some decent damage. Up to 3 kills per guy with that shot. But it does look like the Arc of Sotek may indeed be faltering. Gorbel's taking a lot of damage, and now we have the Saurus Scar Veteran and Crocky G fighting together. Beastmen trying to force their way through in every avenue. Skink's going to be falling back behind the Saurus, and the Saurus will quite happily deal there with the Ungors. Javelins are continuing to be launched into the Bestigors. You can see it is actually enabling the Saurus Spears to go toe-to-toe with them despite the Tuskor Chariot support. Big Fat Traitorkin is going to go down. That's going to catch the Saurus Scarvetron and Krok-Gar. Looks like they have managed to deal with the Ferromanticore as well as some Tuskor Chariots. They've been doing some good work, but they don't want to duel Gorbul Torox as well as the little Brave Shaman. Krok-Gar needs to be careful and actually fall back, I think, here. Looks like he's going all in at the moment. Lovely little Brave Scream goes in, but the Bestigors are still struggling in the front. Lizardmen do look to be in a dominant situation, though there's a lot of Centaurs of Thrown Axes left. Solar Engine is quite happily launching shots in from range, and Krok-Gar is trying to go toe-to-toe. He has summoned a Manticore to the battlefield. He's going to be doing a tactical retreat right now as he does fall back. He's been putting in a good shift, and looks like he did enough damage here to actually terror out Torox the Brass Bull. He's fleeing from a little Manticore. Torox, what's got into you, buddy? The Ferromanticore does try to finish off Krok-Gar, but in return, I think he's probably actually going to get killed here by Krok-Gar. Yeah, he is. He's going to get forced back. Torox does manage to steady himself, seeing his little brother keep fighting. He wants to set a good example, though that Ferromanticore summon's been really nicely used there by Calaharman. Krok-Gar's just going to fall back and kite back away from Torox, save up that second hand of the gods. And it looks like the Beastmen have fallen all over the battlefield now. We still have all these thrown axes, which is very scary stuff. Although the Brave Shaman's terrified, the Gorbul's being forced back. We do have Tuskor Chariots rolling over infantry, and those Bestigors are doing such good work. Unfortunately for Torox, he started to break and run away. Krok-Gar is hunting and hounding his brass booty. He's going forward in slow motion there. I'd love to see a hand of the gods here, like a big old beam to finish off Torox, but Brass Body's popped, so maybe not the right place to do it or the right time. A big shot does come down. It is aiming after the Gorbul, who's trying to flee behind this gigantic wall of grass that he's discovered. He's like, oh, maybe it will aid me. Now, one of the Poseidons does go down. It is the Ark of Sotek. The Centaurs have done a really good job, and the Beastmen aren't out of this yet. They're actually kiting back really effectively. The big problem for them is that Bastillodon is still alive and active with 5 bits of ammunition left, and the Centaurs are running out of ammo. We have Bestigors return to the battlefield. We have the Gorbul coming back, and in the distance, we do have Torox Brass Bull, unfortunately, being chased off by Skink Cohorts, which is a little bit insulting, I feel, of Torox. Krok-Gar is going to be returning and hunting him down still. He's got 78 speed. You'd expect him to catch up with Torox, but he's been hunting him for quite some time here. Now, the Poseidon Solar Engine is still firing quite happily. Only 11 kills, but he's been shooting into pretty key targets, so I expect his damage value to be really high. Beastmen are doing a decent job, though. Look at this. The Chariots and the Centaurs in the front supporting the Bestigors are overrunning a decent amount of the Lizardmen resistance, but there is 63 spears, 69 spears. Oh, God, yeah, there's a lot of spears all over the place. Unfortunately, the little brother does take a big shot to the face here from the Poseidon Solar Engine, doing some relatively decent damage here. And it looks like we are going to be getting a Manticore summon go down once more. This is the second one. That surely is going to force us to army losses. And you can see the back of the Beastman force has been broken. Torox didn't die, but he was chased off the battlefield. And that is going to be a sweet, juicy victory there for Calaharman and the Dino Boys. Well played to both these guys. Really awesome stuff. A very close game. And it kind of swung in that middle engagement where Krok-Gar was able to escape. And by pinning in, the Gorbul and Torox, the Lizardmen had a better part of that engagement. Krok-Gar, 1,697 damage value, 5 kills. Beautiful work there. Now, the Skink Priest didn't do too much, but those Manticore summons were crucial and powerful. Just shy of 1,200 damage value from the Saurus Scarvetron. Skink Cohorts did okay across the board, so did the Saurus Warriors, but honestly nothing amazing. The Javelins were where it's at. 666 damage value, 464, 472, and 522. Every unit of Skink Cohorts paying for themselves. Now, the Poseidon with Ark of Sotek only got 588 damage value. The Solar Engine only 720. Not as much value as I thought. That blind effect, though, certainly helping out in those key and crucial duels. Torox Brass Bull, only 446 damage value. He was, yeah, too busy looking at chat. That was the problem. That was a problem for a Torox. No, I think it was a Saurus Scarvetron on a cold one there, Ice Power. Brave Shaman of the Wild came in with 570 damage value, 1.2k on Gorbul, actually outdoing his older brother there. Infantry suffered, though. The infantry really suffered quite badly. The Bestigors, the best one got 700 value, but that is about it. Tuskors struggled as well, 400 damage value and 250. 530, 700, and 592 from the Centaurs, 271 from the Ferromanticore. GG. Up next, we will be playing on Blue Reach River. So let me not forget that map, because I'm going to send that in to Creative Assembly. Just to let them know that Eschen is bugged. The old texture bug there. So, I don't know if that's only from, like, third person. I don't know if those guys had it as well. Yeah, Krogar Boy's little brother as well. It's like, bring your brother to work day. And I think, guys, we might be getting dwarfs. Guys, we're getting dwarfs! Kelligar, I don't know if you're still in chat. But you're going to get your wish. We're getting more lizard men from Raziel, a man of pure class and culture. He's counter-picking the lizard men into Calahamon's dwarfs, and he's banned High Elves and Skaven. A lot more dwarf players than there used to be. I've seen Alfredino bring dwarfs, Calahamon bringing dwarfs. They're quite good in the current meta. Yeah, no Nakayo is a little bit sad for sure. I missed the Cav patch update. Great news, Parkrilla. It's really good news, man. You do have to, if you're already on the Cav beta, revert your game back to live, which will take a little while, but it's great. Yeah, leaking pictures of the Great Bastion. That was happening on another map as well. I wonder what triggers that. I wonder what, like, texture problems triggers that. Krotgarmundi, indeed, Sebastian, a.k.a. Wait, this is... there's two Sebastians in my chat. One of them is A-Move, and one of them is the Swedish duck, as we call him. And I always get them mixed up now, but I believe Sebastian is A-Move. Good to see you back playing the game, bub. Got distracted looking at chat, only reason Torox had to leave. Exactly, if he had stayed fine, he would have won comfortably. Axes out, boys. Single entities, yeah, it's a 5 limit. Single entity monsters is 3 limit. It depends on what it is, basically, on how many you can bring. But single entities, you can bring 5. Cowcole Milch says, satisfy the grudge. Agreed. We need to write one off. Yeah, we're getting dwarfs today, guys. We're getting dwarfs, so respect to the players. I'm very excited. I wonder what style of approach he's going to take up against the Lizardmen. Lizardmen in this force. Oh, there's so many things you can do as Lizardmen here. So many. Pterodons are crucial. And if anyone tells you that Pterodons are not crucial in this matchup, counterpick them with dwarfs every single time and bring gyrocopters and you just instantly win. You have to bring something to deal with gyrocopters, and the only thing you've got that's super effective at them, Razors can kind of do it to a point, but if your opponent's got good micro of the gyrocopters, they can't, and likewise with javelins and blowpipes, it's quite tough. You need some Pterodons to counter the gyrocopters, because otherwise, those gyrocopters will indeed get you. Now, I don't think I updated the scoreboard, so we'll do that when we've loaded in, as I don't want to risk desyncing the game or anything like that. But yes. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. If you are, we're on 69 watching. You guys know how to make me laugh. But if you are enjoying, feel free to like and subscribe and all that standard YouTube-y stuff. I probably will be streaming tomorrow, maybe. Depends, I might be going to Fort Park, I don't know. But if I am streaming tomorrow, it may well be over on Twitch, because I'm going to do a big video on YouTube. There's links down below to in my description if you want to follow me on Twitch as well. So, you know, get some more action. I might just do a quick battle, like, live stream, where we just have some fun. You guys can stream snipe me. Or I might do a campaign, but like a modded campaign of some description. Park Relay, it's 5, but single entity monsters are free. So you may be right in what you're picking. For example, if you got like Kolek and 2 Dragon Ogre Shagoffs, you can't take like another troll or another giant or something. So it just depends, you know, depends on which one. What's up, Hank? Can dwarves bring 4 heroes? No, heroes are limited to 2. Heroes are limited to 2, lords are limited to 1. Although that's built into the game, you can't change that. Ducky forgetting about the Rippers again? Oh no, when did they forget about the Rippers? No, Caps, what did I do? Oh, Ripidactyl Riders to take out... Oh yeah, Ripidactyl Riders, they're so squishy, man. You mean in this matchup instead of Pterodons, they're so squishy that Thunderers would like one volley and the Ripidactyl Riders are crying somewhere. I've seen people make them work here, but it's rough. So for the forces of Raziel, he does need a bit of a comeback here. He's 1-0 down. In fact, let me go update that quickly. So Raziel definitely needs... Oh no. Wrong scoreboard. Let's pop that to this one. Boop. So he needs a comeback here. His back's on the ropes. So what's he done to try to counteract that? Well, a bucket ton of red-crested skinks, which I approve of. I think they're pretty good in this matchup and relatively cheap. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, including the Cult of Sotek there. We have 4 Chameleon Stalkers, which I both agree and disagree with. They're quite good if you're looking to pop them in the enemy back line, find up against Slayers and gain into the enemy back line, but won't actually do that much damage to armoured foes. We have double Chameleon Skinks, double Arcs of Sotek, it would seem. Interesting to see how they perform in this matchup. We have 1 unit of Pterodons. We once again have Tic-Tac-Toe, the Master of the Skies. He will be able to counter Gyrocopters relatively effectively. Won't do much damage to the characters, unfortunately, though he can cycle charge them. And we have a Manticore summoning Skink Priest of Beast. Really fun build. I like it quite a bit. It's very aggressive, very forward-thinking, looking to bomb rush the enemy. Now for Calaharman and his Dwarvish Warriors, we have Longbeards dotted through the front line, who have traditionally traded relatively solid up against Saurus Warriors and Skinks alike. They're just very sturdy. In the central core, we have Quarrelers, so we actually have 3 units of Quarrelers and double Thunderers. We then have some Dwarf Warriors protecting the rear and the flanks, and oh, hell yeah! Hell yeah! Calaharman, man! First bringing the Dino Boys and my favourite Lord, next bringing an Organ Gun with the coolest artillery pieces in the game, guarded by the Dragonback Slayers, and my favourite Dwarf Lord in the form of Undergrim Iron Fist. I swear Calaharman must have watched my stuff and gone, you know what, I'm going to try and make Ducky happy. Bring Krotgar, bring Ungrim. This is some Chad-style levels of play. I'm assuming he's coming in. Oh, he's bringing Rune of... The Ruin of Doom, whatever it's called? The Red Ruin? The Mad Lad. So we have Red Ruin and Axe of Dargo. No Death Blow, though, so I guess he did know that he was bringing this. I don't know if he forgot to take those off or if he just left them on. This is awesome. Yeah, no, yeah, Lizmane Kite here is very toxic for sure. Yeah, you have to, like, basically, it's pretty disgusting. You take double Stegodon with Great Bow, a load of Razordons, and a load of Salamanders and stuff. It can be a little bit tricky, though. If your opponent's got cannons and you're not able to snipe them out, they will ruin Stegodons from long range. But yeah, Lizmane Kite can be really quite tough. I'm still not the biggest fan of the Chameleon Stalkers, though. I know they... Oh, wait, we also have a load of Kroxigor that I missed. You guys know my opinions on Kroxigor. Their melee attack being 26 is really pitiful, so they're not actually very good at hitting dwarfs, but when supported by all this kind of like poison and other elements and magic, maybe they will actually be able to prove me wrong today, which I'll be excited to see. I'd be very excited to see if they can do indeed. Orgun is going to rip some shots, just going to Red-Crested Skinks at the moment. All the key targets are on the flanks. Chameleon Stalkers do come in, and they are blasting the Longbeards doing some pretty solid damage, so nothing too bad whatsoever. Oh my god, that's some really nice work there done by the Chameleons. But now they've used up their shots, they're basically just Skinks looking to get into that back line. But hey, Skinks are always useful. Now the Thunderers have started to open up and fire. Orgun is still going after Red-Crested Skinks. He's definitely going to want to switch that to the Kroxigor and other targets when they get a little bit closer. Dwarf Warriors have been allowed the Chameleons to shoot them down the flank. That's the big problem. You don't want to get hit on the flank by those blasts and charges. I do see too many people use Chameleon Stalkers in the front line. If you use them on the flank like that, you can get some really lovely damage value. Now, the Slayers are getting pressured, it would seem, by some of the Flyers, or maybe no, these HP seems to be relatively okay. Tic-Tac-Toe is getting laced at the moment with bullets from the Thunderers, some of the best range units in the game. I think that's not even my opinion, I think that's just a fact right now. Dwarf Warriors are forcing back Chameleon Stalkers, who can kite back relatively effectively, and we can see Red-Crested Skinks have forced their way through into the front line. Longbeards elsewhere are holding relatively firm, though. Can they bring down the Kroxigor? That could be a big problem for this Dowie build. Ungrim Iron Fist certainly can, and he's charging headlong in. A mighty and proud Dwarvish Warrior. Bring your face to my axe, you puny alligator. With one uppercut, he drags one down. One down, many more to go, however. The Orgun is still firing quite happily, up to 35 kills, doing some really nice damage right now. And you can see the Chameleon Stalkers trying to wiggle their way around. Lovely micromanagement here by Raziel, trying to force them onto the Organ Guns. They are being opened up on quite badly now. We can see Pterodons are being taken down. Looks like the Lizman player trying to take down anything that will be able to counteract his Kroxigor. However, the Kroxigors are engaged right now with the Dragonback Slayers. A terrible engagement for them. And Ungrim Iron Fist, bam, slaps a Kroxigor, bam, slaps an Arc of Sotek. He's having a good day so far. Axe of Dargo and Red Ruin popped. He's a one-man army. Tic-Tac-Toe decides to go after the Thunderers. Orgun still been unmolested at the moment. Dwarf Warriors have pinned in the Chameleon Stalkers, who won't do the most damage to the Quarrelers, or not quick enough, really. And that can be a bit of a struggle for them. Dwarf Warriors decapitating Chameleon Stalkers, doing some nice work. And you can see the Dragonback Slayers are having their way with the Kroxigor. This is a really bad moment for the Dino Boys. And those axes are certainly going to start to pierce that flesh soon and start dragging them down. Some Thunderers have been able to rally despite the beautiful pressure so far by the Dino Boys, and Ungrim's desperately trying to catch this Archosotek. He's actually getting poisoned, which isn't good for him. He's got Foe Seeker on him, so 36 speed against 40. He's not able to catch it, unfortunately. Now, the Ferromanticore does dive down onto the Quarrelers. We can see Chameleon Skinks have moved into hand-to-hand combat. Bounce power is Dwarf favoured despite the Ferromanticore being summoned on the field. And we see the second wave, the Resurgence of Lizardmen, crashing against the shore of Dowie shields. But Kroxgor are really struggling quite badly. They just don't hit often enough for me personally. Organ Gun is still active and firing, despite being harassed now by Tic-Tac-Toe and the Skink Priest the Beast. Although it looks like most of their crew have actually moved into hand-to-hand combat, which is a little bit unfortunate for them. Tic-Tac-Toe is able to fall back and flee. Thunderers have rallied, Quarrelers have rallied, and even more Thunderers as well. There's just so many lines of Dwarvish Onion to pierce here. Chameleon Skinks are doing okay damage to Dwarf Warriors, but nothing too crazy. Now, Kroxgors are rampaging in the front. The Longbeards are quite happy to take that challenge on. Likewise, the Archosotek, up to 16 kills, not shabby whatsoever, and it's whipping its tail back and forth, wagging it, having a good day, but unfortunately all its friends are dying, and that's not good news for anyone. Ungrim Iron Fist can return back to the battle. You can see he has driven away the Archosotek to the periphery, where it's not going to be able to do too much damage. And the Dwarves just need to remember to bring all these troops back, and they're going to be in a really solid state, I think. And we still have Chameleon Skinks left, who can do some decent damage from range. Tic-Tac-Toe can cycle charge, and the Archosotek very good up against infantry, but the Lizardmen are certainly starting to lose quite heavily a lot of units. And they're running out of units as well to shut down the Thunderers, who are going to be able to obliterate the Bastiodons if they're able to shoot at them from long range. The Dramback Slayers are looking to surround the Skink Priest maybe here, because he's actually done a really decent job hounding and harassing the Organ Gun crew. Not that much damage, but he stopped them from shooting, which is really bad news for them. Slayers actually charged into Chameleon Skinks, which is not a very cost-effective trade, but it's going to enable them to pin them in place and allow the Dwarf Warriors to hit them from the rear and slowly cut them down. Being surrounded is a bit of a death sentence if it wasn't obvious already. Dwarf Warriors are beating back Kroxgor as well. Bastiodons are hereby to support, but their leadership is getting really low as the Thunderers continue to dish out the pain from long range. Luckily for the Lizardmen, they have a Ferromanticore summon, which is kind of keeping them in the game right now. Organ crew is hopping back onto its Organ Gun. Archosotek is able to help finish off some Longbeards down here, up to 55 kills, which is relatively impressive. Unfortunately, the Kroxgor have abandoned the mighty beast. Tic-Tac-Toe is screaming battle cries, trying to rally the Lizardmen. It's part of the plan, rally to me! But it's not working super well, as the other Archosotek does fall back, as the Organ Gun is on their artillery pieces once more. Ferromanticore decided to go after the Thunderers instead of them. Tic-Tac-Toe down to 1,100 HP. Dramback Slayers are able to dispatch those Chameleon Skinks and going to start to run them down. Lovely, lovely old rock there. I think it's called the Sphere of Teapot coming down on the Dwarf Warriors, which will also lower their armor considerably, I believe. Is that not working? No, lowers their speed? I swear that used to lower armor. That's really weird. Lowers 60% speed. Is that new? I guess I just haven't used Tic-Tac-Toe enough. It looks like Tic-Tac-Toe, yeah, just takes a big volley here from the Thunderers. I think he was attempting to snipe Ungrim with the help of the Ferromanticore. Ungrim doesn't give a damn about a Ferromanticore. I mean, he's getting shoved around a little bit. Once he gets up, he's not going to get knocked down again. And he should be able to beat back the Ferromanticore relatively comfortably. Army losses kicks in, and it is a victory for the Dowie. Kellegar, that one was for you there. Callaharman shall be moving on to the finals, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to be quite a smash, actually. Pantalanada versus Callaharman. That is a juicy treat indeed, and it's going to be a best of 5, so plenty of time left on today's live stream. Well played, Tarazael. I think he did a really solid performance over both games, and, you know, Tic-Tac-Toe, 647 damage value. Got some work done. Got a little bit of a shift in there. Skink Priest, only 178 damage value, but he was there simply for that Manticore summon. And the Reckless Skinks didn't unfortunately fare too well. Neither did the Chameleon Stalkers. Despite that big burst damage, they did a lot of HP damage, but didn't kill enough models. So once they had blown their load, they weren't much use, unfortunately. Now, the Code of Sotek, 300 damage value. The Skinkies, 440, 400. 360 on the Pterodons as well. Archosotek, 640 damage value and 394. Really not performing too well. Kroxgors just struggle. 370 value. 849 is pretty solid. I really just do think their lack of melee attack means if you're going to bring them, you have to bring something like Harmonic Convergence to buff them up, or a Curse of Midnight Wind to debuff the enemy to make them effective. Ungo Iron Fist, 910 damage value, just slapping enemies left, right, and centre. Dwarf Warriors did okay. Pretty solid actually. 466 value, 566. Longbeards, similar situation as well. Kind of the mid to low hundreds across the board for all the infantry. But it did its job, pinning the enemy in place. 1,871 damage value from the Dragonback Slayers of 177 kills, over 12k damage dealt. Really good work by them. Quarrelers, 470, 600, and 620 damage value. Thunderers, 940 and 800 damage value. Can't remember which dwarf player it was, but I remember them one of them quoting, if you have one Thunderer left standing, you still have a chance of victory in there. Such a good unit, I really do like them. 1.2k on the organ gun. Calaharman, you have made me a very, very happy ducky today. Thanks for the taunt duck, no worries. GG. Cal, you are bringing all my favourite lords today. So, maps will be... Let's just give these guys the maps, and then they can sort out their picking and banning and stuff. Iron... Sand Desert. Tower of Hoeth, which I haven't seen for quite some time, actually. Alpine Ridge. Oasis of False Hope. Now, my hands are freezing, so my spelling is awful today. Or my typing, I should say. And Schwarzhafen? I think that's how you spell it, but I'm not sure. It's fine. They'll know what I mean. So, Iron Sand Desert is the map. And let's update the scoreboard while we're at it. So, the Mighty Cal did manage to go up there and take that series 2-0, which is very impressive, but is back down to 0. Have all the games been 2-0 so far? I think they have. I think every matchup's been 2-0 so far. Hopefully we can buck that trend here. And get a nice 5 games out of these two. I think they'll be relatively evenly matched, so I'm pretty excited. Panta. Actually, I'm going to call him Fanta. It's a long-running joke from a different stream. But Pantalanada, if he wins, is going to have to change his name to Fantalanada, apparently, if he wins one of Logic's Battle Manias. So I don't know if that's going to apply for this one, but hopefully it does as well. I can't believe the Dwarves have no Shooting Lord still. Yeah, I feel like a Master Engineer is a Master Engineer Lord could be a good choice, actually, but I think Bugman would be the better choice. Bugman, for sure. Old Ron Green would have been perma-stagged by the Manticore. Yeah, the fact he can hold up now does make him a considerably less better than he was before. I'm such a Chad, says G-Man. G-Man, you know exactly what's on. You know exactly what's up. Ungrim is 100% a Chad. Full skink build, nice. You gotta love the skinkies. Yeah, you use Thunderbolt to snipe artillery and ancient salamanders and Razordons and so forth. Yeah, it can be scary. Thunderbolt is dodgeable though, but it's quite swift. So you have to move the artillery piece out of the way is the problem. So unless you see it straight away, you can't just drop the artillery piece because it's going to explode. And you can do it with a skink priest plus with quartals. That's the big problem there. No, he still staggers for sure, but just less so for sure. ODM Civil War as a tradition. ODM have been very good in tournaments recently. Well, I say recently, they're always good in them. They're always good in them. So, Calalman's going to be going Dark Elves, Bannon, Bretonia, and Greenskins. Looks like we're going to see some Dark Elf action today. What's my favourite Dark Elf Lord? It's either the Kraken himself, or... maybe Malice Darkblade. Maybe Malice Darkblade. Not that I'm expecting Calamhan to bring them here, but he may do. You never know. You never know. So a little sip of our drink. I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. Oh, God. Alright, let's end the poll as well. Barkman is Melee Lord. He also has a crossbow, Grumpy God, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure there's definitely an image of him holding a crossbow in one hand and a keg under the hand of the other one. And I think like he leads rangers, like Bugman Rangers. So I think he would be a melee and combat hybrid. Joseph says, woo, go Dark Elves. It'd be spicy to see Loki or a card for Malice. 100%. I'm expecting probably like a Marathi pick or Malekith. I did not see what his opponent was playing, though. What Panther was playing. I'll have to wait and see. I wonder what you picked Dark Elves with. It's kind of like full skink if you bring dinos as well. It's kind of so skink because a lot of them have skinks riding them as well. So like Solar Engines and Arcs of Sotex have skinks dangling off them. Steglons have skinks on top. I suppose you go as far as saying maybe the feral ones don't count. But they're kind of the pets of the skinks, right? At this point. Or allies as the skinks. Flank Overload screams Aloys. Flank Overload's always pretty good against the Jowie. Although they can rotate around. What's up, Sam Pirate? How's it going, champ? Man, look at that Mohawk. He is a truly mad lad. But quack Sam Pirate, I hope you're all good today. You're enjoying the live stream. Looks like you guys do think that Lizardmen are slightly favoured against Beastmen. Oh, it's Vampires. Okay, cool. And it is Count Oculus, and it is one Gunnery White. Awesome. We don't get double Gunnery White. I'm relieved. So we do have, for the forces of Pantalonada here, 2 mortars in the back, as well as the Shade Wraith Gunners. I don't know why more people don't bring them. There's a lot of damage, magic damage now, that can be brought in a lot of matchups, so maybe that's why we don't see it so much. But they do a load of long-range anti-infantry damage. It's really good. Sco Dogs in the back as well to help protect. We then have a load of polearms. So a load of polearms, a load of deckhand mobs, and sirens. So I need to just let them know. Just remember, guys, the rocks also count as the edge of the map. So, like, this counts as the board edge, because it's impassable terrain. Anyway, let's go over... Oh, did I go through the full build? I don't know if I did. So, we've got Count Oculus up in the sky. Oh, no, down the ground. Invocation Heck, Raised Dead, all the standard stuff. We do have the Lone Gunnery Right, and then a load of zombies. No Depth Guard, which I'm a little bit sad at. But we do get the Sirens and Shade Wraith Gunners in the centre. For the forces of the Dark Elves here, and the mighty Calaharman, we have triple Harpies in the skies. We then have 1, 2, 3, 4 Shades down on the ground. That's going to be a lot of sneaky long-range firepower. Main battle line is going to be Dread Spears and Blackhawk Corsairs dotted all the way along, with some swordsmen in the mix as well. I quite like the Blackhawk Corsair pick. It looks like we're going to have some on the flanks. Just try and whip around and really dish out the damage where possible. We then have Dark Riders, 2 on the right-hand side and 2 on the left. And leading the force we have... Okay, it's not what we wanted, right? It's not Rakaf, Malice, or Loki, but likewise, it's not a standard Lord pick, though still a very powerful one. We have the Supreme Sorceress, doing her best high elf impression, actually, and doing that weird leg dangly thing. She's coming in today with the Black Horror, Arcane Conduit, the Burning Head, and Cascading Fire Cloak. All really cool stuff, so we'll have to see how this Dark Elf build does fare. Mortars are starting to rain down some shots, and they actually connect with the Shades accidentally. These Shades are all hidden. So the fact they were spotted and hit like that is relatively hilarious. And the Dark Riders also take a lot of shots. So Calaharman is going to be falling back. He realises the defensive position has been opened up. That was the opening here today for Pantalonada. So he wants to figure out how best to approach this. Honestly, he could probably sit back the majority of his army out of range and just float forward with Shades and try to pick off key targets and all that good stuff before the battle does well and truly get underway. Bring it home, my boy. Bring it home, says Logic. Man, we're on to the finals now, so I'm pretty excited to see how this does all go. I thought you were streaming, Logic. What happened? What happened? Maybe you finished streaming. I'm not sure if you were doing a long one or a short one today. For those who don't know, buddy, Logic actually has a YouTube channel. You should definitely go check it out. If you like my stuff, you're pretty much guaranteed to like his stuff as well. He does very similar content around with like multiplayer Total War stuff. Anyway, Harpies will be floating around, just keeping in reserve for now. So the Shades will be popping forward. They're quite a good counter to the Bombers, although we don't actually have the Bombers today. Looks like they're lining up some shots into Count Oculus doing some really long damage, and we saw how quickly Count Oculus can be sniped earlier on. And it looks like, oh my god, the Shades do so much damage. They do have the big problem right now of the mortars ripping into them, doing some massive work, the poor Shades. I think that juicy burning head's going to clear out this unit of pole arms and open up this flank a bit more. But we still have the Sirens on the back. We still have the Shade Wraith Gunners, and they can do so much work to these Dark Riders, who are starting to really get nice and aggressive now. Count Noctilus is going to be whirling around, trying to bring the pain to him as quickly as possible. You can see Dark Riders moving up and around, but unfortunately getting opened up upon on the Shade Wraith Gunners, and Skodogs are going to go meet them in hand-to-hand combat. Now, the Skodogs probably going to regret this charge. Oh my god, look how quickly their HP is thundering down. Dark Riders hit pretty hard, but it should be enough to pin them in place and hopefully break them off the battlefield. Count Noctilus is being poked down quite hard now. Hardcore style by the Shades, who are doing some pretty solid damage. They are starting to whittle him down quite nicely there. Black Hawk Corsairs are slicing and dicing their way through the enemy front formation. Gunnery Mob Summon has gone down, looking to help protect and also pin in this element of the build. Shades are taking so much damage now from mortar fire. Those mortars need to be shut down. But it looks like the Shades are currently really gunning for Count Noctilus, and they've done so much work, and the Harpies are starting to swoop into the back. There's not that much to protect them, and the Dark Elves seem to be in a decent situation. However, the Supreme Sorceress gets trapped by the Scurvy Dogs. Very smart thinking by Calahaman, very snappy, instantly. Burning Head. Pops her down, it kills all the dogs, and is going to allow her to fall back, which she needs to do because that Gunnery Wight as well as Noctilus can dish out a load of pain, and assassinating your enemy lord is a fantastic way to get back into a game, but it's very close. It's not like the pirates are out of this at all, but the mortars are starting to crumble. We can see Bleak Swords actually getting into the back line, which is a big worry. The Harpies have committed to a fight, and it's a fight they cannot win. They're being swarmed. Battle of the Bastard Star right now is the Harpies, as well as the Sirens, sorry, not the Harpies, Sirens and the mobs do surround them and start dragging them down. Now, the Gunnery Wight's getting a little bit low HP right now. Shades are opening up. Big damage has been dealt down to 349 HP. That's going to be a crumbling Gunnery Wight. We do see an Overcast Invocation Heck trying to stabilize the Wight, and which is definitely going to be needed. Looks like the Dark Elves are pulling ahead at the moment, though the Shades are now engaged in hand-to-hand combat. It is against the Summons, so they should be able to kite back and come back and fight another day. Majority of the Dark Elf build is dead, but they still have all their Shades, and that's the problem right now, as the Shades are opening up and doing some glorious work. Harpies doing a little dance over here. This is synchronized swimming in the air, synchronized flying, I suppose, from the Harpies, and they're now going to come back and hound and harass the enemy once more. Shades move in, trying to finish off these key targets. Unfortunately, they've kind of fallen for a trap here. They're getting dragged in by Count Noctilus and the Gunnery Wight, and now they're going to have to turn around and fall back, but the Black Hawk Corsairs are going to push in and help support them against the Sirens. There's still not a huge amount of magic damage on the field, apart from in the form of the Sorceress, but she's having to stay way out of the fight for now, at least until Noctilus and that Gunnery Wight have been dealt with. Shades, they do seem to be in a pretty dominant position, though. A lot of ammunition left. We still have 3 units, which are relatively close to the enemy. Do we have any more? You have another unit coming back as well. Count Noctilus has been able to stabilize, though. The Vampires are starting to claw their way back into this game. Gunnery Wight is down to 878 HP. He was on death's door, but a clutch Invocation Heck may have pulled the Undead back into this. As the Shades are taking huge damage now, mortars are continuing to fight in, and the Shade Wraith Gunners are rallying in the center. They are obliterating any enemy who comes too close, and the Dark Elves all of a sudden may find themselves on the back foot. Bounce power, though, is still slightly in their favor. You can see the Shades do take a decent amount of damage. Shade Wraith Gunners are opening up on them, and the Shades start to break, and the Dark Elves are really running out of steam right now. Sorceress being so low and not able to assist her troops is really problematic. Dark Riders are trying to get in there and shut down the enemy back line, but the problem with undead forces is you need to kill their lords. You have to kill their lords and heroes. You can't injure them because they will heal up and come back and bite you in the butt. Count Noctilus does seem like he might go down here, though, and it was a nice resurgence, but if Count Noctilus dies, it may well be game over, and he's down to just 350 HP right now, struggling to stabilize, and the Gunnery Wight is likewise really low. It looks like Arcane Conduit went down. We were about to see a Burning Head go down on the Sirens. This Supreme Sorceress is living life really dangerously right now, as the Gunnery Wight gets some lovely work done on her. Count Noctilus is going to be going down, but will the Supreme Sorceress follow? She is just about clinging on to life right now, as the Gunnery Wight actually misses his shot here, and he is now crumbling as well. What a back and forth game. I thought VP had got it again, although it's quite crucial that the Supreme Sorceress survives so she can burn and head the Sirens, because the Sirens have no counters right now, apart from being dragged down by sheer weight of number. Gunnery Wight is struggling. He is a negative 40 leadership, and army losses could be close on the horizon, as the Gunnery Wight is going to go down, and that's no more leadership buffs, unfortunately, for VP. Now, the Supreme Sorceress has been driven back. She should rally, though. Her morale Let's have a little look. Has come back to normal, or has stabilized a little bit. Sirens are getting down and dirty with the Shades, who don't actually want to engage in combat still. Use up all your ammo. It's free damage right now, if you can pull back. Sirens can be a little bit slippery, though, and do have the ability as well to kind of chase after you. A big problem right now that Calaharman and the Dark Elves has is the fact that these Sirens cause terror. And we could see some big terror routes going down. Unfortunately, Army Losses kicks in and the Sirens aren't able to fight to the death. I do think there's too many Dark Elves on the battlefield for the Sirens to handle, but you never know. But well played to Pantalonada, well played to Calaharman. The big boy Cal will be taken at the first game in this best-of-5 final. Beautiful play here with Count Noctilus up to 100 kills, 1,200 damage value, 1.4k on the gunner right. Not too shabby whatsoever. Now, across the board, the infantry obviously isn't getting much damage value. It's there to pin the enemy in place. The mortars, though, 850 damage value and 759. Very good work. Shade Wraith Gunners, only 230 damage value, unfortunately. Opened up doing some nice initial damage, and then they're just getting hounded and harassed all around the back line and really struggle to get those shots off. The lovely ladies, the Sirens, 744 damage value and 594. Not great, not terrible. They were, unfortunately, in a situation where their whole army was kind of falling around them, and they were the last ladies standing, so they crumbled, unfortunately, to dust. 630, 589, and 195 damage value on the Scurvy Dogs. Now, for Calaharman, Supreme Sorceress of Fire, 1.1k damage value on her. The Blink Swords did okay across the board, nothing too crazy. Blackheart Corsairs, 197 and 137 kills. Beautiful play. 630 damage value, 650. Shades, 900, 900, 1.1k. Guys, I don't know if you can see that on your screen. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well, Andy. Also, welcome, Dragor. Hope you're all good. 3,000 damage value on a unit of Shades. That is insane. That is insane. They were the ones hunting down Count Noctilus. Dark Rise didn't do amazing, didn't do terrible. Harpies as well got down and dirty and did some decent pressure in the enemy back line. Up next, we will be moving on to the Tower of Hoeth. But GG's, that was an epic first game. If we get another 5 games like that, lads, and I will be a happy ducky. GG. Amazing game. So, Pantalonada is picking Beastmen, banning Vampire Council and Dowie. Calaharman, bam, instant snaps, going straight onto the Lizardmen, and we've seen him win this already. But is he going to go for the same build? Is he going to change it up? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's the problem, right? If you've got a good build, but it's already been shown on live stream, do you stick with it, or do you switch it up? So, the Mighty Cowman is 1 ahead right now. But it's a best of 5, so there's certainly plenty of room, particularly for a player of the quality of Panter to come back. But Tower of Hoeth is the map. GG Fanta got tangoed. Hey, ba-dum-dum. That's a great dad joke. That's a great dad joke. Rarely awake when the streams happen. Yeah, we actually we streamed a little bit earlier today as well. So I guess you've woken up here, man. But hopefully you'll be able to enjoy the stream. It's good to have you here, man. Catching one of these live. They would look more shade-like with the hoods, but you got to admire the confidence into a tight ponytail when you've got an obvious Widow's Peak. They kind of go for like a Vegeta, but a Vegeta with a ponytail. If he like put his hair down. Let's have a nice big fat stretch, and these guys ready to rumble. Straight there. These guys might even be in a voice chat together, I'm not sure. I think I can hear fireworks outside my house. Is there like a firework something today? I'm so oblivious. I'm so oblivious to like most things in life. I don't think so. Is it just, it's Thursday the 4th today, I think? I don't know. Yeah, but the Panther reverse sweep, calling it. Man, logic. You may be right. You may indeed be right. Yeah, it's Phantom, not Panther logic, man. Come on now. You of all people, I expected better. I expected better. Tower of Hoeth, a glorious map, and I say this tidbit every single time that we play on this map. But you can vanguard troops in this mighty little keep here. This little bit of ground is technically part of the map, and you can stream forth. I like doing Valyrian Reavers just because it's quite thematic, and then you wait for the enemy to push through, and then you drive out with these Reavers. It's really good fun. The Mitre Father... Oh god, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Pukic? Pukey? Pucky? One of those. I'm going to call you Father from now on. This game looks fun. Should I buy it? Yes. Yes, you should. It's a good time to get into it because Warhammer 3's on the horizon. So if you want to hop into multiplayer and learn the game, you can play now and get ready and prepared for when that comes out. Is it the exact same build? No, it's not. Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's go through the Beastie Boys first. So this is the forces of Mr. Fantalanada here, and he's trying to come back. He's on the ropes, but it's best of 5, so he's got plenty of time. Double Ferromanticore up in the skies, trying to make Ice Power as happy as possible. Little Gorbel down on the low ground. We then have Centaurs of Thrown Axes, 4 units of them, which is a real big pain for Dinos to deal with in a way, so I quite like that. We then have a load of Ungors, basic cheap spear troops, and a unit of Ungor Raiders. I feel there's a load more to this build. There is, of course, and it's hiding in the trees. So lurking in the trees, we do have the Tuskor Chariots, 2 of them. We then have more Centaurs. We have a Brave Shaman of Wild coming in with Traderkin on a chariot. And Kazrak, 1 eye. Oh, hell yeah! We have the mighty Kazman coming in with his Scourge Whip and the Dark Mirror. He's actually a really powerful character. You shouldn't get it twisted, even though most people consider him a bit of a meme. He's actually very powerful. Mr. Palpatine managed to win a tournament without using a caster and using triple chariot squad instead. For the Dino Boys, a mixture of Saurus and Saurus Spears in the front line, backed up by the traditional Lotus Skink cohort of Javelins. We do indeed have a Bastiladon with Solar Engine, and then we have the Ark of Sotek, and this time a Skink Priest of Beasts on a Stegodon, which is something you don't often see, and I actually think can be pretty powerful. Coming in with that Manticore summon. We have Krotgar and the Saurus Scar Veteran. It is still Bring Your Younger Brother to Work Day. And Kalahama, if you do watch this back, this guy is my favourite lore. So if ever you bring him or ever get good replays, man, you've made me a very, very happy ducky indeed. Lizmen are simply going to be moving around to try to get rid of the advantage of this tree line and force the enemy out from the trees. But it does mean that Bastiladon hasn't been shooting those chariots that little bit at the start, which certainly helps out. That they are currently focused down at the Ferromanticores, which isn't a bad choice whatsoever. And that Gorbel getting a little bit of a graze there, a glancing blow. But the chariots are going to be able to get engaged in the front line without taking any damage. And you can see they can use their mass to push all their way through the Saurus, or at least one chariot did, and the other ones are a little bit more slow. Krotgar, as well as the Saurus Scar Veteran, actually quite a nice counter to chariots. Ark of Sotek is going to pop its load here, trying to discharge all those pesky little snakes onto the enemy. Do some pretty decent work, and now we have Krotgar coming in, and the Saurus Scar Veteran, supported by the Saurus of Spears, is actually, I don't know if this is going to be a great or terrible situation for which side. I mean, the Tuskor Chariots are taking a ton of damage to level their models. Big shots coming in, actually hitting his own friend there, his fellow Bastiladon. It's not good work. Hand of the Gods does go down, and it connects completely terribly, it would seem. I think it hit a load of troops in the way, unfortunately, of Kazrak. And Kazrak is going to be able to fall back. Kazrak is amazing at dicing up infantry. He got so much damage output. Plus 50% splash attacks. It's so scary. He doesn't want to draw Krotgar though one-on-one because he'll certainly lose that one. Good chariot play so far. It's bouncing all around the battlefield. You can now see that the Ark of Sotek has been dealt with. Manticores did survive that engagement. The Saurus being forced off. And the Solar Engine is under a bucket ton of pressure. Saurus Scar Veteran is trying to catch up with the Brave Shaman. We do see a Manticore Summon being brought on the field, and Kazrak is constantly being hounded. If that Hand of the Gods had connected, he could have been in a big amount of problems right now. The Skink Priest is still quite happily shooting. It does come with that Great Bow, which is such an awesome weapon. And he's trying to move into combat though, and still once again hunt down Kazrak one-eye. Looks like the Ferromanticore is going to dive down after the Gorbals actually, and the enemy Ferromanticores. He's certainly outnumbered. And with the Centaurs in so much pressure, it's looking a little bit bleak for the Children of the Old Ones. I mean, there's still a lot of infantry and skinks left on the battlefield, but they can't do too much up against chariots. The Ark of Sotek is being driven away. I think Kazrak probably should chase off the battlefield, or get something, Tuskor Chariots or Kazrak, and drive him away. But it looks like they're kind of wanting to, at the moment, to capitalise on their advantage and come over here and maybe deal with the Skink Priest, the Beast. Saurus Scar Veteran's doing a nice job though, hunting down the Brave Shaman, who miscasts and then takes a big hit from the Scarvet. The Mighty Crocky G, unfortunately, is getting pounded down by the Gorbel and Ferromanticore and probably needs to fall back to safer climates. Skink Holds are pushing forward, likewise are the Saurus of Spears. They are engaging with the Ungors but unable to catch the Centaurs. They're taking a bucket ton of damage, and balance power is relatively heavily in favour of the Beastmen right now. It's also due to the fact that Krotgar is so low. Very lucky to survive as long as he has in that combat. His younger brother is going to go in there to try to seal the deal. Although now the Gorbel and Kazrak, how the tables have turned! Young Krotgar screams Kazrak one-eye, as he launches himself after him. Though the javelins are opening up, and they're going to do some pretty nice damage, and likewise slow down Krotgar. Krotgar does a little loop up and around this urn, managing to dart to safety, and then the Arcasotek comes in to try to save him. A lovely little bit of play by Calahaman, beautiful micromanagement, but I don't think it's going to matter. He's just running out of troops. Skink Priest is trying his little hardest. We'll do a nice overarching view of the battlefield now, and it's just dominated by the Beastmen right now. The mobility of the Centaurs is going to be too much. You can see the Skink Priest taking javelin and axe after axe to the flank. Isn't going too well. Krotgar's been a Chad. He's been trying to fight it out, but unfortunately does get gobbled up by the Manticore. Grimlock will avenge you, do not worry. But Pantalonada, or Fantalonada as we should call him, is striking back. He took a big left hook, but he swung back with the right, and he will be leveling this best of 5 series up. 1-1. Well played to both these guys. Really fun game all around. I really do love seeing Kazakh 1-eye in action. I generally think he's a pretty decent lord. Only 550 damage value on him today, though. He did get countered relatively effectively by Krotgar. 1,000 damage value on the Brave Shaman of Wild. So powerful still on their chariots. 115 kills. Gorbel, 1,544 damage value. Hats off to you, man. You had a really good job done today as well. So 620 damage value for the Ungor Spear Herds. That was kind of a standout there. Tuskor Chariots, 700 and 300. Centaurs, 350, 492, 483, and 441 damage value. The Manticores, though, oh my god, 1,000 damage value and 1,400. They did absolutely awesome work there. As for Calahaman, Krotgar, 983 damage value, not shabby. 892 as well on the Sora Scar Veteran. About 50% of the time they were getting on top of the right targets, but their army was crumbling around them, and that caused them a lot of grief. 944 damage value on the Skink Priest. I love bringing him on the Stegodon, though. I think that's quite ingenious. And actually quite good as well, maybe up against more cavalry-heavy factions, because those great bows are really good at killing cav models. Saurus just did not fare well. The little Skinkies was a reverse. Last time they all paid for themselves. This time none of them paid for themselves. Arcasotek only 520 damage value and only 213 on the Solar Engine. GG's. Oh no, oh no, I know exactly what's about to come, guys, and it is not going to be nice. So moving on to Alpine Ridge. Calahaman picks Dwarfs, bans Skaven and High Elves, Pantalonada picks Dark Elves. Now, the way you do this as a Dark Elf player, this is going to make you all vomit, by the way, is you play Dark Elves as if they're Wood Elves. Just loads of Shades, load of Dark Shards, a little bit of Cav, no mainline actual infantry, and a Supreme Sorceress for Fireball just to destroy artillery pieces, and you kite. It is the way. It is the way. Wicked D! The man, the myth, the legend of new and old. How are you, champ? Very much looking forward to casting your Skaven game soon, by the way. It was such a good game. I recommend that you play the base game, then buy whatever DLC of the faction you enjoy and find cool. I would agree. Buy the base game first. Buy the base game. Have a little bit of fun. There's some free factions as well. I believe Bretonia are free. And just have a little bit of fun with them. Play some campaigns first as well to get the basics. And if you really enjoy a faction, look at what DLCs that faction has out. And often they're paired with another race, so you'll get a couple of extra units and stuff. And just have a good time. Just have a good time. I was lucky that when I got Warhammer 2 and realised I couldn't play the Wood Elves, I got all the DLCs right then and there. And thankfully, they were all on sale. They often do sales as well. Yeah. That really isn't a good way to play it. I disagree, Ice. I've seen it used, like, I don't know. In the last 3 tournaments I've seen, I think I've seen it 4 times, and the Dark Elves won every time. But maybe it wasn't, maybe the Dwarf player didn't know what they're doing. One of them it was me. One of the times it was me as a Dwarf player. But it is pretty disgusting. Kite those tiny men. Kite and Dowie is really good. It's the same as... Basically, just play them like you play Wood Elves, and it gets real nasty. Just about to go to work. No, Wicked. I can write you a sick note. Don't worry. I can write you a sick note. Yeah, you don't go Dark Elf Infantry. There's almost no point bringing, like, the melee infantry. Just kite. Just kite it out. Yeah, I can write you a good sick note. Don't worry. Don't worry, Wicked. I'm a doctor, so I'm allowed to write you off work. Yeah, let us know how you get on, by the way, when you buy the base game. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. I'll have some good fun. These players will be loaded in. We're on Alpine Ridge today, so artillery is going to struggle. I do sometimes see people bring like mass repeater bolt throwers. It's very risky because they do not trade particularly amazingly up against mass Dowie cannons. Dwarvish artillery, particularly their cannons, are some of the most accurate in the game. They have less range than an example from the Great Cannon. But yeah, it looks like it's kind of what I expected here from the Dark Elves. So we are going to be getting, oh my god, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades. I'm assuming they're a mixture of basic shades and great swords. Looks like we're getting some dual weapons and great swords in the mix. We then have a load of dark shards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dark shards. We have a Supreme Sorcerers of Fire in the skies with Burning Head and Fireball. And then we have some cavalry, yeah, Dark Riders on the flanks. And that's going to be about it. So it's just mass, shoot, and kite. And you have to try to shut down at the enemy range correctly, or you can be in big trouble. Now, it's definitely not unbeatable with the dwarves, as Ice Power stated. You can try to trade with your own range, and it looks like that's just what Calaharmon is going to do. So he has a load of dwarf warriors in the front line. He then has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rangers, so a mix on the quarrels, sorry. And it looks like there's a ranger in there as well. So 5 quarrelers, 1 ranger. We have double slayers, one of which is the Regiment of Renown. We then have the Goblobber. And we have Thoric Ironbrow coming in with the Rune of Doom and... Is that Rune of Wrath and Ruin? Yeah, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, which I actually quite like in this matchup. I'm very quickly going to update the scoreboards. Boop. There we go. It is 1-0. And let's do this. Should be some good fun. I support Dark Elves by default if it's Malice or Marathi. Yeah, anything else, you know, got to be on the edge of them. But those two. Oh no, and also the Kraken. The Kraken, man. Quack, what's up, Blackthorn? I just posted a replay of the hottest Elven build. Thank you, man. I will go. I'm basically the last like week's replays I haven't been able to review yet because I went away the last couple of days. I went home to celebrate my birthday, so I had to do a load of recordings in advance. So I just played a load of games and recorded them. But tomorrow I'm going to start recording a load of stuff again. As long as I'm not going to Fort, I might be going to Fort Park, but I'm not sure. So the shades are moving on the flanks now. We do have Dark Riders as well lurking in the trees. More shades moving down this side. Supreme Sorcerers is simply going to fireball the artillery piece to death. So just fireball the Goblobber over and over again and until it goes down. The Goblobber is quite a nice counter, I think. It's kind of cool to see in action. It is the only grudge foe you really ever see. Let's see the Dwarvish Kite! Nah, the Dwarvish Dukes. Oh my god. That weapon piece isn't even in existence anymore. It got burnt up in magical flame, and that is a third of the Goblobber's damage output gone already. Now, the shades need to be careful. They don't want to reveal themselves until the correct time. But, yeah, just focus down the quarrelers, shoot 1 each. We have some miners in the secondary battle line here as well, with the blasting charges, including Egrant miners. They can do some nice damage in the later stages of the game. Dark shards are pinned over the hill here right now. Man, that Supreme Sorceress has miscast both times. We get another fireball coming in. It is no doubt going to be going after the Goblobber. Can the Goblobber dodge this time? No, it doesn't need to. The hill got in the way. That's a rather unlucky Supreme Sorceress. She destroyed another Goblobber. That would have been really rough. Now, the Dark Shards are moving in to the enemy range quite quickly here. I'd probably have waited for some shade support. The shades open up on the quarrelers, and they do some really lovely damage. It looks like the Dark Shards are happy to take this damage. I would definitely kind of like push, falling back a little bit more. But hey, I mean, if he takes this damage but is still able to get rid of the quarrelers, it's probably going to be a good trade. Dwarf Warriors are moving up and getting a little aggressive. These Dark Shards need to move all the way back right now. Now you've pulled this unit of Dwarf Warriors out of position. Focus fire this unit as you fall back with the rest of your troops and don't take any damage. The Shades are trying to move up on this side. Looks like Dwarf Warriors are moving up to engage them in hand-to-hand combat. And the second Goblobber artillery piece has indeed gone down. Dwarf Warriors taking quite a lot of damage right now. And yeah, the Shades just going to focus them down. And that is going to be a dead unit. But if they're shooting them, they're not shooting the Quarrelers or the Miners. And that's very good news, because the Miners kills a lot of this stuff in the late stages of the game. Those Shades are great swords and dual weapons. Won't do that bad against the Dwarves. And you can see the Dwarf Warriors are now pushing forward quite aggressively. Oh my god, there's another visual glitch? What is going on? You see that? Like the big pyramid in the background. At least it's off the map this time. This is also a lovely play. The Rune of Wrath rune's very good up against Dark Elves because they're so squishy. Dwarf Warriors, unfortunately, are getting kited and pushed back right now. And there's a big old pocket has opened up for these Shades to hop into. These Dark Warriors can probably push at this moment as well and start shutting down some of these ranged units, which would work really well. Now, the Dwarf Warriors have been forced back. They are running for their lives. The other Quarrelers are starting to get a little bit beat up, and the Shades are relatively healthy, but the Dark Shards took so much damage initially, and I think a lot of it unnecessarily. Although they wanted to apply pressure and give, I suppose, the Shades the cover to move in and really dish out the pain. You can see the Shades on this flank are also being pushed by. The Dark Riders are going to be moving up now. More Shades falling back to the high ground. Supreme Sorceress. Of course, she's miscasting so much because of Thoric Ironbrow. I don't know why I didn't see that coming. She does have Burning Head as well. Burning Head going down the line on the Rangers wouldn't be too bad. But Calahaman's micro is so good. Burning Heads are really hard to pull off against him unless you've pinned the enemy in place. The Shades are doing some really nice work now onto the Quarrelers. More Shades shooting into the rear of the Dwarf Warriors, and the Dark Shards are running in all different directions, which is 100% what they should be doing here. There's no point to engage. Unfortunately for them, though, the Slayers will be able to catch them, and the Slayers are going to be very problematic for this style of play. And the Dark Riders are now going to be spurring in from the woods, and looks like they can try and shut down the Gobbler, which is a bit of a mistake. It has no artillery piece. Just wiggle around here, and you can kill 2 units of Quarrelers whilst they chase the Shades, I think, would be a better use of their time. But still, getting the Gobbler crew off, and yeah, still be useful. Shades are being pushed back right now. Drumback Slayers are in hot pursuit. And the fact that he brought 2 Slayers today is massive for the force of the Dowie, as they're now able to catch and dismantle these Dark Shards. Dark Shards are falling back, but he's allowing a lot of them to be caught right now. This is a disaster for the Dark Elves. They need to get running. They should not be getting caught by the Dwarf Warriors, and I feel like there's going to be some more Slayers lurking somewhere. I'm always paranoid when I know there's a lot of Slayers, but still, this is a really hard build to micro, and Fanta's doing a really good job of picking this Dwarf build apart now. And now that he's got his riders in the back, he has shattered the Goblobber crew, or nearly shattered them, and then come over here and beat back the Quarrelers. The Supreme Sorcerer's fight up in the skies is taking considerable damage at the moment, and it looks like Murderous Prowess has indeed been popped. Shades could turn to engage in hand-to-hand combat. They're not terrible, particularly if they have great swords and dual weapons, but Calahaman is expertly pushing back on all fronts. This is something a lot of Dwarf players are really scared to do, is you push out and spread yourself across the battlefield, because you're so easy to abuse that way, but it's something if you master, you cover each other as you approach, you can actually do some really decent push play. The Shades are being caught right now by Slayers. Shades of Greppin seem to be moving over towards the Dwarf Warriors, and I think the Dwarfs are in a really great state of advantage right now. Shades are being, Dark Shards have been caught and forced back. Supreme Sorceress up in the skies, not having the best of days. She's miscast quite a few times and not enjoying life. Dark Riders do manage to shut down 1 unit of Quarrelers, but at the cost of their lives, as the second unit of Quarrelers is able to break them and force them back. We do have 2 Shades in the back line, though, who have shattered a unit of Miners with blasting charges and can come over here and probably finish off these Quarrelers in the back. Looks like we do have some Shades trying to flee, but they've been pinned in place. Look at this, the Dwarfs escorting the Dwarfs to the edge of the battlefield. These Dwarf Warriors are trying to plug the gap, trying to stop them escaping. You shall not pass! And it looks like the Greppins may get caught here. The other unit probably will be able to escape, but the Slayers hot on their path. These guys can't 360 no-scope. They can't shoot whilst running away, and that can be very problematic for them. Burning Head goes down the Rangers there, doing some nice damage. Might actually be enough to break them. However, the Supreme Sorcerer is getting danger low right now. And the Shades still have decent ammunition in certain areas of the battlefield. But they are struggling right now. Such a good push by Calahaman. I think losing so many of the Dark Shards early on was a really big determining factor. But also the fact Calahaman pushed out in 2 and 3 multiple directions while supporting his own troops. The Dowie! Vengeance is being ripped from their lips. This is for all the grudges the Dark Elves have done to them. You can try to kite, but you can't flee from vengeance. And the Dwarfs doing a good job catching the Dark Shards here, who whip out their swords, stand no chance against the elite Dowie folk. And it looks like the Shades have been caught by the Slayers, forced off. Armor losses is going to kick in any moment now. We have a few Shades in the back, and they're hunting down Quarrelers, doing some nice work, but even if you get rid of them, there's so many Dwarfs left on the field and not enough ammunition. It looks like the Supreme Sorceress is up in the skies. She can't really risk casting spells because of Thoric, and if she casts Fireball, there's a good chance it's going to pop off and she will explode her own little head, and down she goes. What's up, real human being? Hope you're all good day. Thank you, Victor. My birthday was on Tuesday. It was on Tuesday. But quackity quack, GG's. 4 Sisters and Helebron. That's kind of a cool style approach though as well, come on. It's cool. The Mighty Dowie Ambush. I remember when Dark Elves vs. Dowie used to be Quad Sisters. Yeah, Quad Sister Rush was quite common. Catch you later, Wicked. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. You says he's off to work. Have a great day, everyone. I really do hope you have a good day, bud. And hopefully we can get some games in soon. Hopefully we can. I want to get you on the channel as well for a best of 7. Maybe you versus A-Move. Now that A-Move's coming back to the game would be quite good fun as well. But wait, let's go through the damage dealt. Well played to Pantalonada. A decent effort there. 940 damage value. But the Dark Shards, only 360, 269, 320, 143, and 118 damage value. Shades, 580 damage value, 182, 300, 825, 587, 414, and 762. Just not quite able to bust in and get the key damage done on the right targets. Dwarvish 20 stacks are very common in the current meta. Very powerful as well. For Brow, only 240 damage value. He's very much relying on his miners here and Dwarf Warriors to either clear out chaff or pin the enemy in place. Dwarf Warriors are a real mixed bag. Depends if they manage to catch units or not. So some got 600 value, others got no damage value, 15 damage value, only 69 damage dealt. Echo Miners unfortunately weren't able to be used to their maximum efficiency either. 750 and 570 damage value on the Slayers. 1,198 damage value on a unit of Rangers is bonkers. This unit's what, 550 gold or something? That is insane. Now the Crawlers, 900 damage value, 470, 490, 550, 410. The Goblobber unfortunately just got sniped. 320 damage value is not too great for the poor lad today. So up next we will be moving to the Oasis of False Hopes. Which is, of False Hope, which isn't the loveliest sound of names. Robert Dark Carl avenged you. He did. He brought the Dowie and avenged me. GG. Kazook. Pantalada is picking Bretonia, banning Beastmen and Greenskins, and we're going to be getting at the Warriors of Chaos. So let's quickly update the scoreboard. Cow is back ahead once more. He just needs one victory to seal this first DBD qualifier and book himself a slot in the Grand Final. So the way this works, for those who have just joined in, I always forget there's new people who haven't seen these tournaments before. So Death Before Dishonour. How does it work? Well, it's as many players can enter as they want, and you can enter as many times as you wish as well, as long as you haven't already qualified. There's 4 qualifiers, so the winner of each tournament will pick himself a spot in a Grand Finals. The Grand Finals are then hosted at the end of the season with a cash prize. Now, I might be mixing up as well and doing some more, themed prize as well. Maybe some duck-themed prizes and all that kind of good stuff. Or just do cash. I'll probably see what the players want. But I feel like it's normally a relatively, decent sized win-ins, but nothing too crazy, so I think maybe a prize might be quite fun and thematic as well. You got this, Panther, says Cypher, go, go, go! The 1,255 Dowie, standing strong in the face of evil. There is potential for one more Dwarf game. I don't think Panther does actually play Dwarfs, though, sadly. Which is a little bit upsetting. At least I've not seen him play Dwarfs recently. Yeah, Rangers and Blast and Chargers are quite a nice combo. Crawlers are very good in that matchup. I actually think a little bit better than Rangers. Rangers are still very good, don't get me wrong. A mixture of both is kind of best. But Crawlers just have that armor and the shields, and they're such a nightmare to shoot from range. It can be done via focus fire from Dark Elves. So here we are, the Oasis of False Hopes. Pretty fun map, and the lads are ready. Both these guys come pretty prepared. Who do you think this favours, Bretonia or Chaos? It's an interesting one. It often comes down to, can the Exalted Heroes get the right engagements? You'll normally see Fae, double Paladin, double Exalted Hero, and Archaon, and they'll hunt each other down to the end of days. Now, the problem for the Bretonians there is Exalted Heroes far out-dueled Paladins, and Archaon dumpsters the Fae in hand-to-hand combat, of course, particularly with Slayer of Kings. I love Slayer of Kings. It turns into a wrecking ball, and he can do some pretty horrendous damage. Panther is a man of honor, it is true. He would never even think about touching the Dowie. I mean, he did touch them there with some arrows, but unfortunately they touched him back quite aggressively. Armor doesn't matter versus AP range. Hey, armor certainly helps. Anyway, against range in general. Also, the shields can come in quite handy, and the fact they can unleash a bit more deadly salvos time and time again. As you saw there, Quarrel's performing really well up against the Dark Shards. So for the forces of Bretonia, we do have a load of peasant mobs dotted all the way along. These guys will probably be used in the front line to soak up and absorb the enemy pressure. Of course, we have the Lady, the Fae Enchantress, the living ambassador and embodiment of the Lady of the Lake. Coming in on her unicorn with Dwellers Below and Earthblood. Those are some quite popular spells nowadays. That's kind of the normal toolkit you see of her. Double Paladins up in the skies, rolling dirty, and then we have Quest Knights. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Knights. It looks like we have 3 Questing Knights and 1 Knight of the Realm. We actually have Foot Squires and the Beast Slayers of Bastion, which are looking pretty awesome, as always. I'd like to see them perform really well. I see them either get dumped or do really good. Foot squires are an interesting choice. I've almost never seen foot squires pay for themselves, but on paper that you would think they would. Anti-infantry, armor piercing, but their lack of melee attack and melee defense means they do struggle sometimes to land their blows and can absorb quite a decent amount of damage. For the forces of Calaharman here, looking to seal this best of 5 series early. A load of Chaos Marauders in the front line, dotted all the way along. We do have thrown axes as well, in the form of cavalry, model horsemen and horsemen thrown axes dotted all around the back. A nice central core of Chaos Warriors great weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those bad boys. Double Ferromanticore up in the skies. Chaos Sorcerer of Fire with Burning Head and, oh no, hell yeah! Flamestorm. So you get Flamestorm, Scroll of Shielding, and it's actually Prince Sigvald the Magnificent. Interesting choice there. I mean, if the Prince is able to catch Fae Enchantress, he probably doesn't like Fae because everyone thinks she's beautiful, so he's like, hey, get back here, I'm the only one beautiful here. If he can engage with the Fae in combat, he'll certainly do a bucket ton of damage, but I don't think he'll be able to catch her particularly easily here. Now, it looks like we do also have some Mounted Yeomen, which I missed, which is quite a nice pickup here by Pantalanada. So we have triple Mounted Yeomen, one of which is the Wardens of Montfort, doing some nice damage and just counter-skirmishing. That's the reason you bring them, is to deal with these horsemen, because the horsemen do a load of damage, not only to your characters, actually, and your large units, but your cavalry, which is a little bit problematic when you're playing the Bretonnians. A nice little kind of reorganization here from the Bretonnians. They start to fall back and reassess their battle lines. The Paladins need to be careful. They are indeed anti-large when they're on these glorious mounts here. They should be able to fly and catch the Manticores, but Ferromanticores hit very, very hard as well. They do have the advantage of healing, though, from the Fae Enchantress, so maybe they're looking to take the fight and use the Earthblood, but they are pretty squishy. 3,400 HP versus the 3,800 of the Manticores, but in they go. We do have the Horsemen coming over here to help support. Paladins, again, there's some lovely early engagements, taking no damage and whittling down this Chaos Ferromanticore, who has been hit with a Scroll of Shielding. Unfortunately, the second Manticore, he's vibing. He's chilling. He don't give a damn about his brother. He wants all of the human meat for himself. So he's going to let this Manticore die. We do have a load of Thrown Axes coming over to help support against the Paladins. Favor the Fae goes down the Paladin, and the other Manticore thinks, oh god, my brother might actually die here, and there'll be no food for anyone. So he's trying to come back. Standard Die has been popped by Sigvald on the ground, which is going to buff the melee defense of these units, and all of a sudden the Paladins start to lose, even with Fae of the Fae popped on them. No Earthblood support, going up against those Thrown Axes, and the buffed Chaos Ferromanticore. The Paladins doth fall. They were all fuzzy lady, and now they're like, I don't know lady, I don't know her, and they start running away. The Mounted Yeomen are doing a decent job hunting down the Skirmish Cavalry. Unfortunately, one Paladin is doomed. He's routed, and the Manticore can simply chase him off. The other Paladin does manage to escape, and hopefully can come back into the battlefield. Burning Head is going to roast the Wardens of Montfort and do some decent damage to the Mounted Yeomen. The Quest Knights can charge in here and do some lovely work. The Chaos Ferromanticore is close to being broken here. The Fae Enchantress, you think you'd be able to snipe with a Manticore, but she is very tanky, and she's also assisted right now by the Quest Knights. Now, Prince Sigvald is going to be a nightmare to deal with. He's going to have to be left to last, I think. Realistically, and the Fae's going to have to clear up all of this infantry with the support here of the cavalry. Now, the Mounted Yeomen are doing a beautiful day's work so far, hunting down and harassing the horsemen and throwing axes, but they still live. We still have all 5 units on the field. Paladin is just about escaping. The Chaos Ferromanticore definitely wants to get back to friendly territory and receive some of those juicy buffs before risking an engagement once more. In the main fight, the Foot Squires are now engaged with Prince Sigvald alongside the Beast Slayers of Bastion. And the Fae Enchantress does manage to fall back. Now, the Chaos Warriors are trying to use their mass to push through the enemy battle line, realising they can't fall back. And we do get that Chalice of Potions coming down, doing some okay damage there. Okay damage to the Chaos Warriors. Nothing too crazy, though, as they were able to dodge the worst of it and move forward. The Foot Squires going toe-to-toe relatively effectively, as a big Burning Head roasts the Foot Squires and Beast Slayers, who are engaged with Prince Sigvald. Standard Die has been popped now. 110 armour. 142 leadership there, and 84 melee defense. He's an absolute wrecking ball. Now, the Paladin may want to engage down low and get some support from some of the cavalry, but it looks like both Paladins have come back, and they're going to be taking this fight 2-on-1. It's the rematch. The Thrown Axes dart over looking for support. We are going to get an Earthblood come down. That Chaos Ferromanticore can no longer retreat. It has been hit by a rampage. Now, the Thrown Axes are not the best at hitting flying targets, but if the flying targets are being pinned in place, they actually can hit relatively effectively, and a lot of damage is being wrought upon them, though that Manticore does seem like it may well be going down. We're going to see the Dwellers below, trying to catch up these Chaos Warriors with great weapons. You can see they are running for their life right now, but this unit does take some relatively decent damage. Nothing too insane. Might be enough to break them alongside the foot squires. Once again, a good dodge from Calaharman. It's really hard to catch him out without pinning the enemy in place. He's got the moves. Got the moves, certainly. In the back line, Knights of Rome were able to collapse on the Horsemen, as well as the Question Knights, and I think things are going pretty good for Bretonnia, despite a lovely dodge down here by the Chaos Warriors, because they've lost the air game, and both Paladins are alive. Fey Enchantress is full health, and yes, there is still Prince Sigvald, but the majority of the infantry will struggle up against the Fey Enchantress. Question Knights are doing some lovely cycle charging, bouncing and bounding across the battlefield, like fiery bolts of death, hobbling on top of the Chaos Warriors and doing some lovely work. And of course, Grey Weapons still decent against cavalry in prolonged fights, but not so much from the rip. Quest Knights up to 41 kills so far. Wonder what the general consensus is now on the best knight unit in the game, the best units of cavalry. Because Quest Knights for a long time were considered some of the best, particularly at the Regiment Renowned version. I wonder if that has changed in anyone's opinion. We're about to see a Flamestorm come down, and this is a fantastic way to get back into the game by the Warriors of Chaos, doing massive damage. These knights are being roasted alive in their armor. Luckily, they managed to pull back, but I was about to say, without taking too many losses. Look at the dead knights there on the ground. A lovely cast coming in by that Fire Sorcerer. Good news for Fantolanada here. He managed to realise the situation and pull back before he lost all of these units completely. But is that enough for the Warriors of Chaos to whittle down the knights and buy time for Prince Sigvald to claw himself into this game? It might well be. Quest Knights are looking to wrap up and around above these Chaos Marauders before collapsing upon them. You can see them charging now their great swords. Not getting the most furious of charges, unfortunately. Kind of went up to them and nudged them. But it should be enough to drag down the Marauders. Del Paladin looking to assassinate the Chaos Sorcerer while it is isolated from Prince Sigvald. Not a bad idea whatsoever. You do not want the Prince rallying to these troops. And somehow Calaharman has kept some of his horsemen alive and active. It looks like ammunition has started to dwindle on the Mounted Yeomen, and they're going to be forced to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Fey Enchantress can kill all this infantry, but can they kill Prince Sigvald, who has dispatched one of the Paladins and I think killed the other? So Sigvald's already got his blade wet. He's at full health as well. I think Sigvald might do this. I think the mad lad Chad himself might better pull this out the bag. We still have some Chaos Warriors of Great Weapons as well. I mean, the Knights of Rome doing a good job on them, but peasant mobs and foot squires simply aren't going to cut it against Prince Sigvald. We do have Quest Knights as well, of course, who have a decent, very solid damage output, and they're breaking off a lot of units on the periphery. This Paladin does need to come back. If it's healed up and does cycle charging effectively, it can hurt Sigvald quite considerably. Cavalry is using the mobility advantage right now that Bretonnia does possess, and is running over these Chaos Marauders. Looks like it breaks them. I don't know if it's going to be enough to shatter them, but they're, 21 models, negative 54 leadership. Not going to be a good day for them, and they have been shattered. And unfortunately for Calaharman, the Chaos Sorcerer has been broken by just consistent cycle charging here by Fantolanada, doing some lovely damage. Chaos Sorcerer has been broken, but he may well be able to rally. Is that other Paladin coming back to the battlefield? It does not look so. So we did lose both Paladins, which is a tiny bit disastrous here. Cavalry does now shatter the Chaos Marauders. They've got another unit they can jump on if they want. Basically go anywhere that Prince Sigvald isn't. Unfortunately though for them, and good news for Calaharman, Chaos Sorcerer has rallied, and he has a juicy unit of 67 Chaos Warriors to hide in. I'd like to see these guys kind of move together where possible. And I think though the Fey Enchantress still does have that Dwellers Below, so that could be enough to kill the infantry. Though it looks like the cavalry is doing that anyway. Chaos Marauders break and shatter. So both units shatter. These knights need to fall back now before they get caught by the Chaos Warriors. Now, it does look like the Sorcerer was dwindling behind a little bit, and the Fey Enchantress is no joke in combat, and it looks like she is going to be able to break the Chaos Sorcerer, taking any magical abilities off the battlefield for the Warriors of Chaos, which is pretty bad news. Although, the Chaos Sorcerer is just about clinging on to life, and Prince Sigvald's nearby, and it looks like the Fey's actually going to have to retreat here, so we still have those Burning Heads and Flamestorms in the back pocket. 29 Knights of Realm is pretty powerful, and it looks like the Chaos Warriors are starting to lose quite a lot of their numbers now. Even the Wardens are getting in there down and dirty in combat, up to 48 kills so far. And now the Fey Enchantress once again is going to move in. This time Calaharman countercharges with Prince Sigvald and drives her away from his precious Sorcerer. But while he's doing that, the Knights then jump down, and we do get a lovely Earthblood going down on the Knights of the Realm and the Mounted Yeoman Archers. And it looks like the Chaos Warriors are broken. Chaos Sorcerer Lord, or Chaos Sorcerer, just about clinging on for dear life. Oh no, I think, were we about to see a Flamestorm come down? I don't know, I thought I saw a little icon there, but it seems to have gone away now. It might just be the stand or die coming in. Chaos Sorcerer is just about alive. It looks like these warriors are doing a decent job up to 162 kills. My god. 880 damage value. Knights of the Realm do a favour. The Fae popped them right now to 72 melee attack. That might be quite useful on the Fae as well in her duel against Sigvald later on. And Quest Knights do collapse. That is a dead unit of Chaos Warriors. Come on, fans. We want more games. We want this to go to a best of 5. It will be so good. It'll be so good. Earthblood goes down once again. Favour of the Fae is popped here onto the Knights of the Realm. And it looks like Prince Sigvald is going to stand alone. Everything else is broken. You can bet all your money in the world that Pantalanada here, or Fantalanada, whatever you want to call him, is just going to chase off these units and shatter them before he engages with Prince Sigvald. And then he's just going to try to cycle charge him to death. DB. Oh, Dwellers Below, yeah. It does some, it also slows and drags down the enemy, but if they're in it, in the middle, it'll last a little bit longer, obviously. So you want to get that priority hit where possible. Now, the Chaos Source Lord of Fire does get knocked down to negative 18 leadership, and it's going to be running away for his life. You can see the Knights of the Realm going to be ignoring Prince Sigvald, but he's not too happy about that. He does slaughter one of them. He's up to 94 kills, only 630 damage. Now, take bets in chat. It's Sigvald versus the world. He's the last one left standing. There's only cavalry left, but also some peasant mobs. How many kills do you think Sigvald's going to get? He is currently on 94 kills, 630 damage value. How much will he get before he goes down or seals victory here? And though he looks outnumbered, unless he breaks, he can kill a lot of this stuff. Like, a lot of this stuff. A lot of these units are going to come in for a big fat surround. Slippery is propped on Prince Sigvald. We also get an Earthblood go down on all the cavalry. He definitely wants to start cycle charging in Fae, cycle charging in the Heavy Knights, let the Peasant Mobs take the brunt of the damage. And is this it? Do we have anything left? Does not look like it. If we look around the battlefield, it is what you see is what you get. Now, the Wardens have been forced off. Mounted Yeomen are just about fighting in here. And the Fae Enchantress is trying her best to drain down the boy Prince Sigvald. Cavalry's going to fall back and, yeah, just start to cycle charge. They did 0 damage to Prince Sigvald on that charge. How much has he regened already? Okay, so he's regened... Oh my god, no, he still has 2,000 HP left to regen. Oh no, you got to do 5,800 damage value to Sigvald? There's no way. There's no way the Bretonnians win this, right? I mean, save up Favours of the Fae, save up your magic, use your Knights of the Realm, but it's tough. The Fae Enchantress does need to engage in combat, though. She hits relatively solid. 46 melee attacks, not bad. 300 weapon strength as well. Are these guys fast forwarding? Yeah, I think these guys are fast forwarding, which is fair enough. It looks like they both agreed to fast forward. You reckon 5,000 kills? I don't think that's possible, just due to the fact there's not enough units left. But maybe 5,000 damage value, you never know. So do you think he can do it? I think he most likely will right now. Like, the Wardens, the Mounted Yeomen are really struggling. The Knights are trying to cycle charge. Fae Enchantress as well is giving it a go. She needs to get engaged in combat where possible, even if it's just to apply that drain effect. But the Yeomen are starting to break. Balance power is still heavily in favour of the Bretonnians. We do see yet another Earthblood come down, but Sigvald just doesn't give a damn. He still has 1.5k healing left. It's going down so slowly. So slowly. He's trying his whole heart out here. The Knights are poking there, jabbing. Prince Sigvald's loving it. He's laughing. He's laughing, singing a war tune, just cutting down Knights. Another Knight goes down. Look at all the dead horsemen around him. This is nothing. This is a walk in the park for Sigvald. Outnumbered like 100 to 1. Ain't nothing but a thing in the eyes of Slaanesh's Chosen. And he's doing a great job. Doing a great job. He's killed quite a few troops. He's up to 185 kills so far. I think the peasants ran away, unfortunately, from him. Should hit that 200 threshold, maybe. As the Knights as well are struggling. Yeah, Sigvald's just not taking damage at all. He's still got, so yeah, 750 HP yet. So not even halfway through of what they have to damage-wise they have to do to him. If this is a Sigvald victory, I'm going to riot. Look out, people, lock your doors, because I think this is going to be a Sigvald victory. Fae Enchantress takes 1 or 2 big slaps there from him as she tries to engage in combat and drain him down. We can see his healing cap now. We can actually see his healing cap, but it is far too late. Prince Sigvald roars victorious. In the name of all that is chaotic and evil in the world, he has done it for chaos. Time to get 6k damage value, you think? We'll have to wait and see. Look at him go, man. This is certainly one way to win a tournament. I mean, Sigvald's very good, yeah. I'm not even saying you have to bring him here. because Archaon's also very good here. But yeah, Sigvald's very tanky. So 193 kills, 16k damage dealt, 3,534 damage value, with more left in the tank, because he still basically had a 3,000 HP roughly left to go for him. 2.1k damage value on the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. I think that Flamestorm won Callaham in the game. I really do. He did so much damage to his knights, tore them away, and then he had nothing to kill Sigvald in the later stages of the game. Morris did a decent job, relatively low hundreds. 990 damage value on the Chaos Warriors, 775, 657, and 653. Big kills though, 166 kills, 102 kills, 87, 78. Lovely stuff. The Skirmish Cav kind of got counter-skirmished really effectively. Not many of them paying for themselves at all. One unit of Phoenix has got 570 value. Manticores are both with the mid-500s. Lovely play by Pantalonada here. Pantalonada as well. Did a good job all day, to be honest, throughout the tournament. Does go down 3-1 in this series. 920 value, 945 on the Paladins. 1.5k on the Fey Enchantress isn't too shabby. Hey, 120 damage value on Peasants is relatively impressive. First squads did good. Hey, 867 damage value and 353. Only 310 from the Beast Slayers. 1.5k from the Knights of the Realm. 950, 800, and 663 from the Questing Knights. 822, 734, and 705 from the Skirmish Cav. Did a really lovely job. GG. Well played, lads. Cal has booked himself a slot in the grand finals. Awesome. I'll let him a message about that as well, because this might be his first time playing DBD, so I'm not sure if he knows how that works. Condolences to my boy Panzer. He did a really good job, man. He did a really good job for sure. Sigvald, the raid boss. No loot for Bretonia, it seems. Yeah, he was so tough. He was so tough. Even with Faye on the field, it's somehow easier to hate on Siggy. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, we can complain about Sigvald being OP, but Faye's also very, very powerful indeed. So let's update the scoreboard quickly. We're not quite done yet with the stream. Cool, so I just received a message there. Let's update this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cheeky little bit of a raid, guys. So it was 3-1 to Callaharman, very well played by him today. We got to see Crocky G, we got to see Ungrim, a load of dwarfs were played today actually, which was really quite fun and exciting. So before we go, let's find someone for you guys to go and we'll stream raid someone, which is always good fun. And also, for those who have joined late, I'm doing an event with Creative Assembly, not this weekend, but next weekend. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's called Teach Me Total War. It is a tournament. And I'm going to be doing a video about it and probably dropping it tomorrow, which is pretty exciting stuff. Pretty exciting stuff indeed. Yes. Cool, so I've received a load of messages. But let's go find who's streaming. So Turin is streaming Age of Empires, which is cool. I'll try and find a Warhammer stream. I'll try and find a Warhammer stream for you guys instead. And then we'll go raid. Logic might be streaming on Twitch. Alright. Let's go to Twitch. And Sevy's there. Thank you for bearing with me. Is Logic streaming? Logic is streaming, awesome. So it looks like he's doing some SFO Grimhammer. So let's drop you a little link there. Please, guys, go over here and yell quack at him, scream at him, and yell quack, demand bread, and spread the love. So feel free to go over there and say what's up. GG's to Calharman, a very strong player indeed, Pantaman. You played very well. It's a tough scrap. Hey, Duck, which of the Chaos Gods do you want to try first? Zinch, my friend. Zinch, Eldron of the Mist, because he's basically a giant flapping duck, as is his entire faction, so you gotta love him. So here's a link to Logic's Twitch. Feel free to go over there and support and say what's up to him. I'll drop in a video probably later today, so feel free to come back and check that out later. Like, subscribe, all that standard YouTube-y stuff. But until next time, guys, peace, and as always, stay